live. What's going on, guys? It's Andrew Esquire, American attorney over here, right now in Thailand. I'm actually in the beach at Thailand, so I'm using my Logitech Brio. It's a different camera. It's got a wider angle. You got a more cinematic mindset today. And I am happy to be here with you in the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. We're going to have a fun one today. We're going to start with Marvel and move over to Maya. So we're going to start with that, move over one way or another. Hopefully you guys are having a good time out there. I know I am. And what I am really, really, really excited about is I am excited to be joined by my good friend, Steve Gott. Steve, how's it going, brother?
Wingman.
Okay, so listen, my mic is messed up.
No.
Is it really that messed up? Do you hear me all right? Okay, yeah, sounds good to me. Let me pull up the mic controls to make sure nothing happens.
In all fairness, I kind of invited myself on because my wife went to bed early. She went on at like 9 o'clock. I'm like, "What are you going to bed? It's only 9 o'clock." And she's like, "I'm tired." And I'm like, "I'm not tired at all." I'm like, and then I saw your stream. I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like a fun stream." I said, "Can I come on?" I volunteered.
Yeah.
See, so volunteered for the abuse and the drama. So I'm ready for you, buddy.
This is absolutely great because I love to have like Florida men. First of all, you know, we have the bond of Florida men, and I love that we have like the light side of Florida man and the dark side of Florida man, if you want to call that. So like if we're doing good cop, bad cop, it's probably like the light side Steve Gosney and the evil, misogynist, racist, horrible, toxic Andrew of the Legal Mindset.
I reserve the right to play both sides of the fence. So it is your stream. Okay. So you've got your fans, you know. So I'm just the interloper. So feel free to criticize.
I enjoy interlopers. They're really good. Incest Live says Andrew wearing his pimp suit. Thank you. It's actually my lightest suit. It's an unstructured suit. So it's not lined or anything else. It's very light. So it's really good for hot places, Miami, Thailand. I wear this one a lot. This shirt is made out of material. They call it bamboo. I'm not sure whether it's actual bamboo or something they call bamboo, but it's actually really super breathable. So I don't sweat as much.
Hey, Andrew, are we live?
Really we are
live,
very
or are we gonna record this?
We are very live. We are very live. Oh, that's no. Oh, sorry. So maybe you haven't caught this. This is my new channel lore. So because I've been kind of doing my own thing a little bit with, especially covering Disney stuff and everything else like that. I've been kind of, for the most part, streaming on my own. There's a lot of good reasons for that, which we're actually going to reinforce today. Why I like doing the majority of my stuff by myself. We're actually going to reinforce that as we go to the back half, talking about Maya, LawTube drama, why we do it live. But the lore came up from my channel because I do so many premieres. I really like premieres because I like to be interacting with the chat. I like to see the chat. I'm a man of the chat. Like if I was out there, I would be in the chat. I'm a man of the chat. I'm a people's chat person. I feel the spirit of the chat inside me.
Yes.
In rainbow way, right?
No, I'm the same way. And that's how I love the chat. I go on chats all the time. Sometimes I get busted on. I see you. You know, but I love being in the chat.
Yeah, I know it's great. The chat is great. And the thing is that like with the chat, they'll drop some gems like man of the plebs. Yeah. What's wrong with the plebs?
One of the most epic stream things, I tell you, Andrew, I love your sense of humor because I remember you came on and like everybody was covering some trial and you start sniping everybody. And I was on there and I'm like, I'm on somebody's stream. I forget. I think it was on 5. And you're like, come to the dark side, Gosney, right?
Yeah.
You know,
come over
scratch
here.
your head if you're watching my chat. And I'm going.
And it's so funny because secretly Vices is texting me and Vices is like getting like low key depressed because he knows that you're going to leave him for me. But it's like, you see it, and then eventually he's like, just go, Steve, just leave me, just
get it over with, rip that Band-Aid right off.
It's like right when she knows you're gonna break up with her, she makes it her decision. She's like, no, I want you to go, I want you to be happy with her, Steve, I want you to do that. that was where Vices
Well,
was at.
and I'll tell you,
It was
Jeff
very,
from Legal
very
Vices,
cute. I love that.
he's one of my favorites. And
I
I
love
like,
him.
and I put
love
all these commitments, like I'm staying with you, I'm staying with you. And then you're like, come, Florida man, come. And it was just too much fun. And so I was like creating a little there, right?
We love it. It's absolutely great. Speaking of things I love, what I love are my members like Steven JFG, who said, yes, I love the marbles. Dance numbers 4, everyone. Yeah, let's do it. And then he gave 10 Legal Mindset membership. Thank you so much for gifting the memberships. Yesterday, a record, people. We hit 200, and I think it was 70 or 232 or 270, somewhere in that neighborhood of memberships. I have to double check. I think maybe 272. 272 Legal Mindset memberships. Make sure you have on accept gift memberships. I want to see a sea of green in that chat. I appreciate it so much. The people that get these memberships appreciate it. And, you really just make this a more based internet by dropping those things. And you have access to all the emojis, the burning rat, the burning castle, the rat. You got all the good stuff. All the good stuff.
Oh man, and you have just been, like I said, I'm such an admirer. I
want to make the gauze emoji for when you come
you feel free. I
have enough slots for emojis now because I have enough members. I have like all these emoji slots. I'm like, let's just go crazy. Let's just go wild.
I did send you some stuff like on behalf. I was like the legal mindset reporter at Disney, and I did the what is it, the Reedy Creek sign. I'm like going,
that was
legal
great. That was fantastic. So people here dropping in here, the rat, the castle, the soju, the atom, the amber, the KFC, the Murphy, the whiskey, the rat, the elk, all those, tons of stuff there for you guys to drop. StreamYard doesn't display them, but they're really freaking cool. And I love it. I love it. A Cartman KK emoji. Yes. Steven, can you send that to me? Do you have that? Do you have it? Can you just send that to me, please? I will just add that. I'll add that right after the stream if you send that to me. You got my Twitter. You're on my Twitter. Get in those DMs, baby. Get in those DMs. They're open. They're
I
open
love the fun attitude here, and especially, what I love? There's the Germans have a word for it, and that's when we see
Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude.
When you see Disney.
How did I know that right away?
Yeah, right. We're so enjoying a great corporation like Disney going down in flames with their new Marvel movie. I mean, and isn't that German word? Doesn't that kind of apply here?
Yes, absolutely. Ein bisschen Schadenfreude. It is definitely Schadenfreude. It's watching a corporation that is talked so high and mighty trip all over itself. It's very cathartic. It's very healing to see that happen and see it play out. Like we're really getting a catharsis of, we told you so. Like, we are now telling you this is what your good's gonna happen when you go. It's get woke, go broke, right? It is as everything is saying, and not just that, but it's you're lying, and this is the consequence of lying about something and misrepresenting something. Is it's going to fail. You're going to absolutely 100%.
And actively warring against the people that love you. People don't realize what a Disney fan I was. I mean, when I was a little kid, I wanted to work at Disney. So did I. I went to Disney probably 30 times in like junior. I'd always want to go to Disney. I was there for 3 days in opening day of Epcot. I was there opening day for 3 days with my mom because I begged, I said, let's go to Epcot. I want to go to Epcot on opening day. I was there 3 days. I had annual passes with my son. We went there probably 100 times. I mean, I am a huge Disney fan. And this is the thing. And they
in Gosney, same for me. When I was working at Bonnet Creek, right there, I had a pass. I had an annual pass, right? One of the clients, actually not Bonnet Creek, a totally different, unrelated client, contributed it, right? Which is completely legal because we're a private group, right? It's not a public funds. It wasn't Reedy Creek where they're using public funds to buy special Disney passes that only they were allowed to buy. This is a private gift that they can give as much as they want. They take us out for booze. They do a bunch of stuff. It's great when you're in a firm. But I had a pass. I went there all the time. I was at Disney probably each week 3 times. Each week 3 times. I liked Disney. I enjoyed Disney. I had friends who worked there. I had friends in the council there. I had friends that worked adjacent to Disney, worked at law firms supporting Disney. I knew a lot of people, and I saw the change. I saw it happening. I dated somebody who was actually fairly high up in the HR apparatus of that for a very short period of time. She was really hot. You know, and she was telling me about the policies they were pushing. Right.
Well, you know, why? Why? And this is the thing, they're just steering it. And I want to say, like, you know, the prosecutors down at the Melly trial that Legal Vices is covering, I offered my good services to them for a very fair amount, and they rejected me. I even emailed them.
I get it.
I'm going to make a new offer on just exclusive Legal Mindset offer, just for this stream, only for good. For Disney, okay, $1 million signing bonus, and I will quit my job. You give me the power, and I will straighten out. I will turn your books around. Give me the power, stockholders of Disney Corporation, and I will make your company profitable again. I will turn your ship estate around. $1 million signing bonus. I will quit my job, go over there, spend full time. That was my job. Give me the power and the money, and I'm there because I'm somebody. I'm a fan. I'm a lover of Disney. I could tell it. They won't take my advice. I give it away. You know,
they'll never take that advice. They'll absolutely never take that advice. It's just not.
Why not?
It's not going to happen.
Because it's just because they're more impressed. They're more they'd rather lose money hand over fist and please their elite compatriots about how woke they are.
Mm-hmm. And let me real quick. I want to admit the chat was right here and I was wrong. I just discovered the mic was set by default for some reason. StreamYard set it to my onboard mic for the laptop. So that's what screwed up. So I went in and changed it. I noticed somebody called that out. So appreciate that in the chat. You guys were right.
Do you really have a Mickey Mouse tattoo on your behind?
Yeah, tramp stamp. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Giant Mickey's tramp stamp. Yes. And if you believe that, I've got a bridge in Ethiopia to sell. Yes. Yeah, hopefully we're sounding a little better, more clear here, guys.
Yes, that does sound better. I was noticing something, but it wasn't that bad.
Were you being the nice guy who doesn't tell his buddy about the mustard on his tie? Don't be that guy, Steve. Don't be that guy.
No, I'm not. I was just thinking. I was like, you know, it's a little echoey, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I heard you. I'm communicating, right? I'm live. I'm here.
We're communicating, but we want to do better. We aspire to better on the Legal Mindset, right? We aspire to better. This is live as professional streamer, yes. So to finish the lore, since I do so many premieres, it's now a trope of is this live? Meaning, is this a live stream or a premiere? Because a premiere is like a catfish. It's like a really hot girl in her photos, but she shows up and she's maybe not as hot. But actually, premieres are, to be honest, premieres are even better for me because I get to give you a very focused message and I can interact with you on that focused topic. So it's much for me, it has its space, it has its place, and it definitely is a fun format for me. I love doing premieres. I love having those. But obviously, people like Is This Live, who literally changed his name to the fact that I am not always live, is great. They love trolling me about it, and I'm here for this trolling.
It's
and by the way, this is how you deal with it.
Because you, my friend, have a sense of humor.
Yes. This is how you deal with it. This goes for, by the way, this goes for the miserable Disney shills, the miserable people at Disney, and for those streamers and LawTubers, I'm looking at you out there, who take themselves too seriously. Have a sense of humor. Laugh about something. This is why people are watching YouTube channels that are like they're counter to the mainstream because we're just having fun. We're two Florida guys just having fun, two Florida men having fun. And while we're at it, we're shilling his book, Bruce, his new book, Bruce.
It's Brucey, the one-eyed wonder dog.
I'm sorry.
Where's my little thing that's only
I'm
available?
sorry. I'm so sorry there. Brucey, the one-eyed wonder. Okay, I'll put you on.
I will
the big screen.
Sell Brucey.
I got you.
Wonder dog. The next great Disney movie. Right here, I will sell it to Disney for a cool $1 million. Disney,
cool million.
Right here. Here's the future of family entertainment. But you know what? You, the listener, the viewing public of Legal Mindset, can get it for SteveGosney.com for your child. This is real wholesome family entertainment based on Christian values, and you're going to buy your children some good children's stuff anyway. Why not get them something that's not Disney supporting, but instead Gosney supporting? Brucey, the one-eyed wonder dog. See there?
I'm very much in support of that. No, and honestly, to be completely honest, Steve, I said this and I'll say it again. I am super ultra supportive of anybody creating content that is not hyper politicalized, particularly if it's founded in values and principles. Christian values and principles, Western values and principles, American values and principles, anything that's in any of those areas, I fully support and endorse. We need more of it. We need more of it, right? I mean, I need something that, if I'm recommending someone else, what should I show my kids? I can say, get Brucey the one I wanted to, get this good content, get wholesome content.
Look at this is not just, Let's Go Brandon, right?
Yeah. I'm well aware of him. He's killed my liver a couple times.
Make this happen. Look at the artwork here. See,
that's really cute.
Look at here.
That's actually really good.
Who would want a one-eyed dog, right? See, look at here. We've got Brucey. You can make Brucey part of your family. See, it's meant to be read. You put it on your lap. It's really cool size book. That's 11 by 8.5. It's
very children's book size.
Very all hardcover, highest quality print, all full color, all fully professionally illustrated with a story. It's not hit you over the head like, Jesus goes and pets the lions. And
right.
Here's Jesus, right? It's not that. It's a story of a simple dog, and you can ignore the message if you want, but why not have a message of love and redemption about living with disabilities? Everybody, we're all one-eyed wonder dogs.
And how to be positive about that rather than having a victim mindset.
And being like, we all are imperfect. Nobody's perfect. A little humility. And it's like we all have some imperfection about us. We're all one-eyed wonder dogs, but that doesn't mean we don't have a purpose in life.
Which is actually funny because that's one of the things I remember back when the LawTube situation was getting really crazy, which we are going to get to. First half is Disney and Marvel. Second half is LawTube, Maya, drama, all that good stuff. But I remember that was one of the things I think they tried to make fun of me on. People tried to say, oh, you have a weird eye, because I guess when I do certain camera angles, one of my eyes looks weird.
Oh, yeah, you do have a weird eye. Look at that.
Yeah, people say, oh, it looks weird. So, like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm like moody. Like, what is it, Mad Eye Moody? It's like, you got to laugh at that shit, because if you let it make you get mad, if you get butthurt about it or whatever else, what are you going to do? Like, what's the solution to that? Like, the end result is crap. So just have fun with it. Go with it. Don't get butthurt about it. Keep moving on with your life. And or make a joke, make it into a joke.
Like my girly drinks that I drink with my pinky in the air. I can't.
Those are really funny. Steve Gosney, Steve's sidecars, right?
It's like Steve, right? I mean, come on, it's a silly thing, but what am I going to do? It's
pretty on its face funny, It's on its face funny. Yeah. Tim Riggs says, I see a lot of great names. I'll do something about that. If we can get more thumbs up, guys, smash a like button. 606 of you in the chat. Whether you're here for Disney, whether you're here for drama, I don't care.
Smash and Rumblers, my people. Rumblers, do the same thing. That goes for you too. I'm watching you over there. I see you. 110.
We've got a lot over there. Yeah, I mean, we got a good showing over there. And on top of that, we got people on my locals. We got a good handful there, about a half dozen on locals. And Caboose says, 2 Florida men having fun. Where's the meth and the alligators?
Hey, did you see Brian Shaw wrestling the alligator? That was really cool.
I did not.
Brian Shaw man?
No, I did not see that.
Oh, it was cool. And he was in Florida, and he did this and it was fascinating because as a Florida man, I want to know how to wrestle an alligator. And I've never seen it actually trained, and whys and hows, like how the Seminole Indians would capture him. And they went through it very methodically. And I was really cool. Now I've got mad Florida man skills because I watched Brian Shaw wrestle an alligator.
And do you feel confident to wrestle an alligator now?
Well, confident. I'm just saying, if I was put in the situation I had to do it, I would.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a true Florida man, right? Like, a true Florida man is the ability to do what you need to do to take care of business. That's what Florida men do. Is this live gifted another 10 Legal Mindset memberships? So already we are on a streak, and we're up to 40 because we got Tim Riggs, who followed up with 20 Legal Mindset memberships. And right now we are in this stream, 244. Come on, give me the 250.
Hey, Steph, the Ultra Nerds here. Flux is here.
Oh, man, we got everybody. We got the mod squad for Legal Vices. We got Steph, good to see you. It's going to be unfiltered fun when it's me talking about Disney and drama. I mean, this is like peak. And I got
that's what I said. I said, Andrew, you got to have me on. I'm like bored. Huh?
And I got Gosney on. This is honestly, this is peak Legal Mindset, because it always is great time. Anytime Gosney's on, any stream of Gosney on, we have such a good time. We just have a good time together.
Because we got the Florida man, and we must say, let's clarify, Central Florida man.
And let me say this real quick here too. Look at Michelle C. $4.99. Andrew, we love you because you don't take yourself too seriously. And Steve is always so a delight. He is, because I don't think, by the way, same applies for Steve. Steve doesn't take himself that seriously.
When I do, it's deadly serious. But most of the time, it's like, see, this is the thing. I mean, what I do with
the question is too seriously. Look, I do work. I have clients. When I'm doing my work with a client, I am very serious about what I'm doing. I'm very focused on what I'm doing. I'm very straightforward. What I'm doing, I'm hyper focused on that. This streaming is different. This should be something I do because I enjoy it, because I have fun, because I have fun hanging out with you guys, I have fun with guests, I have fun covering the topics. I wouldn't do streaming specifically if I wasn't enjoying it, because I would burn out, become miserable and angry, which is, I think, where a lot of people are going. That's the direction they're going with this, because I think a lot of people who just do this, not Steve and I, because we don't just do this, right? We have other things we do, including writing a lot of books for Steve. And actually, I just finished teaching a course. We both teach courses with Andrew Bronco's American Law courses. I just finished my business law course.
I mean, I've got my job. I've got the American law course. I'm teaching criminal procedure. You're teaching property again, or what you're teaching?
No. So yeah, I'm teaching business law right now. So I teach property and business law. So, people forget I was in-house counsel for X amount, and most of the representation I've had, even in a firm stance, I was doing special districts, but also high net worth individuals and corporations. So I've represented a lot of corporations, a lot of high net worth individuals. So business law is very, very, very much something I know a lot about, wanted to teach about hand in hand with property, because a lot of these things go together, but also they'll go with courses that Steve teaches. Like when Steve teaches about evidence or criminal law,
and criminal procedure. And it's actually quite,
so we talked today about punitive damages. And when I talked about that, I talked about punitive damages are a way, the theory behind punitive damages is to give a little bit of punishment as if it was a criminal context, because the underlying requirement is there's some sort of criminal intent behind punitive damages. There has to be willful conduct, reckless conduct, right? You're getting towards criminal law. And I specifically said, that's a Steve Gosney area. I said that during class today.
Well, so the criminal law is, but punitive damages are not. Now, I did do
criminal law. Criminal law. That's what I meant. Criminal law. When it transitions over to criminal law, that's you.
Is over here, because you got, and that we respect each other's areas of practice. And
you're an expert, and I defer to your expertise. This is going to come into handy throughout the stream today. Remember this. See me deferring to Steve, because if I said, Steve, how often is it that someone goes to jail for, let's say, let me just use this one here, in a reckless driving case? How many people go to jail? Like, you could give me a background on that, because you've dealt with criminal context, reckless driving with a homicide.
Now you want to answer, or you just throwing out a hypothetical?
That was a hypothetical. No, but see what I mean? You could actually start to give me an answer, right?
Well, in fact, I'm going to be teaching this in sentencing and criminal procedure right now, which I'm going to do a whole sentencing portion of Florida sentencing, and that is the two primary factors behind high sentences are, number one, prior record, and number two, severity of offense. So a reckless driver who's just technically reckless, but is because, that's one thing. But if they actually reckless and they hurt people, they damage cars, they're going to have a more serious sentence. And also somebody who's a recidivist, who has a lot of prior record, they are going to be sentenced. So those are the two primary reasons when somebody will be sentenced higher or lower. Those are the factors you need to look to as far as severity of sentence in criminal law in Florida, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. I'd say you asked me a question, I automatically want to answer it.
I believe you. And the thing is, I believe you because you do this, and this is your area. I defer to you. I agree. It's like I'm not going to try to rebuke that. Now, other people who have contrary experience, maybe you want to have a debate with a prosecutor or somebody else, right? And they have a different opinion, they have a different political agenda, whatever. That's fun. That's good content, but that's for you guys to do, because I don't have a dog in that fight. Duncan Spun says,
Disney, this is the guy, man. I'll tell you, nobody else even comes close to mindset. When it comes to this Disney lawsuit, that was such a gift. I mean, you should be thanking Disney for being so stupid because they have given you a big old plum, like all the
Disney's been paying my bills,
and they've been ruining your beautiful business. They've just said, you know what? To make up for it, we're going to give you the Disney DeSantis lawsuit. Here, does this make it better?
By the way, some people are asking about the drink. This is not alcohol, right? This is a tea, right? This is a very common tea over here. I like it. A lot of the like Southeast Asia, Thailand, China, they'll have these herbal teas. It's a very good mix. It's like sort of like Dr. Pepper of herbal teas. It's got the blend of spices. It's got a lot of other things. I don't even know what these things are, but it tastes delicious. I do really like it. So it's one of my morning drinks. You know, the weird Asian drink here. Completely sober mindset. Do not have any alcohol on me. However, I do have some funny super chats. Dungus Fun says, I have a one-eyed wonder worm. Don't know.
See, now you've painted it. See, this is the thing. My beautiful story that I've spent my life in designing, pouring my soul in. Now you're attaching a negative.
For $2, they did great. For $2, they did it. At least make it look
happy.
If you're gonna do something like that, at least do it for $5, like Alan
or
West
10 or something.
So Alan West says it's a narcissistic fantasy they have. Anything that goes against it, they spurg out. I'm sure Jack Murphy had a lot of lessons most forgot about. Absolutely. And I think we got this before, but once again, Tim Riggs, thank you so much for another 10 Legal Mindset memberships.
Wow.
We are up to 50 Legal Mindset memberships in the chat. Guys, make sure you have it here. Make sure you have it covered. So you accept those.
Maybe this
so
is
you can become part
night.
of the basic
maybe
mindset. It's great.
Maybe membership night. Tonight is membership.
It's membership night. It's membership night.
It's our annual membership drive.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna have a stream on my anniversary stream is gonna be this weekend. I was gonna do it last weekend, but Valiant Renegade was busy, couldn't make it, and he has been my homeboy with this Disney stuff. So I want to try to leave it open for certain people to make it and get in here. So let's just jump into it. But we're gonna do that this weekend. I'll get that time out in the next couple of days when I get that all streamed out. But let's start out with this MCU stuff, shall we? So what I've got here. I love people in the chat. Can you rewind the premiere? I'm a little late. Oh, I love you guys. All right. So we have the Marvels that just dropped. Now, my good friend Valiant Renegade, his weekend estimates, he estimated it at 47 million, but he said, just wait. I bet it drops more by Monday with the actuals. Here's the actuals for the Marvels. 46 million in the US.
Now, how much did this movie cost?
More than that. Much more than that. I don't have those numbers. That'd be a Valiant thing.
Looking at the front cover of that thing, I can already tell you that it's going to flop.
What about that cover gives you the idea that it would flop?
Because this whole idea of the chick superhero lead is kind of like, okay, you're pushing progressive look, and you've got the whole diverse collection here. You know, Mrs. Marvel. I was growing up with comic books. I got piles of comic books over here that I can't get rid of, and I liked Captain Marvel. I don't ever remember Captain Marvel being a chick.
It wasn't a chick.
Okay, so there's our first sin against Marvel Universe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Freaking.
And it's not like I'm against female superheroes. I mean, talk about a great superhero female was Mystique. How great was Mystique? I mean, there's a great comic book superhero female, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, look, Captain Marvel. Look, we're gonna, that. It's a woman, empowerment, and oh, you know what? She's gay, and she's going to here, and she's shooting out the things, and just tell the story. They bought Marvel, and they've got catalogs, endless comics of great stories. Just take it and put it on the screen. It's easy, but no, we've got to inject some kind of political ideology. And sorry, Flux, I know you're I'm an honorary lesbian. I'm not objecting on the behalf of that, but they're adding stuff to
No, I
push
will, and
political
I'll
agenda.
say this. I'll say this too, right? It's also a very big misnomer to treat that community as a monolith. To say the interests of gays, lesbians, trans, is bisexual, allies, plus are all the same. That's like saying all white people have the same interests, or all black people say, oh, what? No, we're all different.
I never
people.
remember
That's
like picking up a comic book and saying, "Oh, I hope this guy's straight." I mean, it wasn't an issue. You didn't have straight man. You know, it's like he's Superman and he does super stuff and he goes.
But instead,
sexuality is not the issue. Why are we sexualizing children's stuff?
Well, and the other thing too is instead we're going back and making every single character different, right? Like, okay, we've got to change Captain America, right? We've got to change Iron Man. We've got to change Thor, right? We've got to change Black Widow. We've got to change Hawkeye. You know, we got to change She-Hulk, Black Panther, Ms. Marvel. So we've got everybody here, right? Do you see some, you know, if we're in an era of representation, what's not represented here? Well, first of all, largely men, right? I know people say there's one exception there, right? But how about, you know, other races that are not African American, right? How about the Asians? We have Asian
legitimately was a character, but so was like what was it? Iron Fist? What was the guy's name? It was you know, but this is a delusion to think that this present generation, the present society has a monopoly on acceptance. When I was growing up, now let's just get let's remember what. Hey, I loved Queen. Freddie Mercury was a hero.
Queen's great,
star, right? Elton John, Liberace. You know, it's like Barry Manilow, Rob Halford, Judas Priest. I mean, it's not like okay, they're saying I like their music or I don't like their music and what they do. I mean, it's not like anybody didn't know. People were free. There wasn't this huge discrimination, but it's like now, all that time people were persecuted and all that. Not really. I mean, it's like, okay, no, it was not. I mean, I think it's gotten a lot worse because now if you don't toe the party line, right? If you're gay and you've got an independent decision, you've got an independent mind about you and you want to think something, boy, that's not accepted at all. Right?
No, you cannot have that at all. Although one thing I will say is we are getting to the point where they are actually in the reality here, they are actually turning on it. And even the people that were Disney stans are starting to acknowledge the MCU. So there's this really crazy person, Grace Randolph. She's always been big on the all the fans are toxic, misogynist, all this racist, all that stuff. And here she is making a confession. I want to play this for you guys. This was retweeted by Nerdrotic, but it's very important to hear, right? So watch this.
Who is this again?
This is Grace Randolph. She's a Disney shill, super supporter of Disney, always the first to call people out for being racist, sexist, whatever, right? But so she's ideologically of that camp, pro Disney, pro woman, pro super diversity, right? Listen to what she has to say here.
Now, I'm sure you've heard the term MCU. It's being used by some fan communities. And yes, the term is extremely offensive, but it's also becoming undeniably true.
So they're coming around, not to get the copyright strike on the meme there at the end, but it's coming around to be absolutely 100% true that the memes, the things we've been talking about are being validated, right? The things we've been talking about are now just showing up because these guys are a joke. They're a little parody of themselves at this point.
It's
right?
It's a sad. I mean, this is supposed to be a creative institution, right? And I get it. There's, like I watch Project Runway. I'm a huge Project Runway fan, and most of those people are gay as they can be, right?
Yeah, really
gay men all over the place, right? And they're extremely creative, and I love it. But the thing is it's not creative what they're doing. It's like, oh, we've got a great bunch of catalog from Marvel, and we're going to add our creativity. We're going to change the race of a character. Aren't we clever? No, you're not clever at all. That's like boring, low-hanging fruit, stupid, not creative.
And this is it. And this is no. And this is it right here with the meme. This is it from the Pandaverse meme here. But the circle of entertainment. Find a beloved IP. Put a chick in it. Make her gay. Make it lame. Product flags. Blame the fans. Right. Do it again. Do it again with another IP because it'll really work this time. You know what? This time it's gonna work. But you know what? That does not work. But you know what does work, Steve? What does work really, really well is Brucey, the one-eyed wonder dog. Because Sully SDS on a $2 Rumble rant just got a bunch of Brucey for all my friends' kids. So Sully went out there and not just bought it for himself, but for somebody else's kids. So first of all, thank you for the Rumble rant. But more than that, thank you for supporting my good friend, Steve Gosney. He's a really good guy. He creates good content. You know, he's a wholesome guy, unlike me, just a loathsome degenerate. He is a very wholesome guy. And really, I always feel like I am enriched by having a conversation with Steve. I do feel like I am a happier person. I am a better person. I like having the pushback from Steve. So I really do want to say I genuinely appreciate that.
Well,
I appreciate your friendship. I really do.
You're going to buy a Christmas gift for your loving children, right? And why not? Every dog has a story. He found himself alone on the street. His eye hurt. Who would help? Will you help? So, yes, I'm really looking. This is the one of one. This is the printed proof copy. And I've got a whole bunch of them that are on order, but they're all hardcover pre-order. Yeah. And you're going to buy gifts, right? Why not get something nobody's ever seen before that's full of love that you can read to your child? Reading to your child is really important. And one of the things I love, Let's Go Brandon was and Patrick Finnegan and Vices and Steph the Alter Nerd who was in here. They were big supporters, got this done. And I always wanted to create something like, we've got a big box of books that when we have kids in our family, we pull that off the shelf and we read to them. And that's done with my son, my son. That was what happened to me. The books are up there for the next generation. And it's a quality thing that you can pass on. That's what I'm trying to create. So Barry, thank you for I didn't expect the commercial.
Yeah, no. Listen, if you're going to come on with me and ride or die on a stream like this with me, I got your back. See, the people don't realize it's like, what I do, like I am very big on my friends. I'm very big on friendship. I'm very big on trying to help people out, but really help people out. I call them out. I give them pushback. It's because I love you. It's because I care about you. Your real friends do that. And I also support them when they got something they're pushing. Particularly, I will push hard for it. And you've been creating
the problem is if I get you on a hook, I'll have a book out every week. You see, so
I see. Yep.
Actually, my next one is not going to be very popular, but it's
great. Huh? No, then do it. Do it because you want to do it. Do it
because I'm doing it. It's going to be a manual for Florida death penalty lawyers. Of training manual for them to attack Florida's death penalty constitution.
Good. Do it. Yeah, do it.
It's going to be a textbook for my
It's important. Office. It's important for you. Then get it done. And it's going to have an impact for the people that care about that. Tim Riggs says, Disney's legal stupidity, PR insanity, and business failures are absolute garbage movies have almost made Disney the largest contributor to content on YouTube, Rumble, etc. for the last few years. It's hilarious. And it's not stopped. Some other people, and we'll see, there's a clip later that I'm going to pull out of people making fun of me a little bit or trying to poke fun, which I accept for covering so much Disney. But we all have our subject matter expert, and this is my subject matter area. So yeah, I'm going to cover this case entirely like other people covered taking care of Maya, right? They chose to do that. I chose to cover every single filing in this case. That's how I'm doing.
I want to know too. I am following. I am so interested in this case. I don't know why. Why am I interested in this case?
And so are hundreds of other people, oftentimes thousands of other people that join me every time. We got 850 over here on YouTube. We got what are we up to on Rumble right now? I believe we're in the 100s over there. We've got some on local. So we've got about 1,000 people across platforms that are interested in this. So yeah, I'm going to keep covering this. Yeah, we're all right. We're doing all right here, guys. And I'm not going to stop till Disney's out of lawsuits, and they got plenty in the bank.
And you've also cleared the fields because nobody else can touch your expertise. So
no,
it's like, who else is going to come in and say, don't watch Legal Mindset. Come watch me because it's like, look, there's nobody else. So it's
yeah. You've been really covering Disney, buddy. Yeah, you've been really hitting that hard, huh?
Yeah, there's Mindset and there's like everybody else, you know.
Benny Turkoff says, remember for 2 months, Steve's book is way better than John O.Q. gave. Okay, I don't know what John O.Q. is, but
do I need to look that up? I don't know.
Yeah, Steve, Google it for me because I don't want to Google it while I'm live.
I don't know.
Poppy G says the only good review I've seen was a parody. Yeah. I mean, correct. Mr. Smeg says,
what is this cover?
Mr. Smeg says, may I have your comics, Steve?
I don't, maybe I got to come up with something clever because I've got a whole pile. I got boxes of these comics. And
you should do a giveaway. You should do a giveaway on a stream. You should do it for a stream. I'm giving you the grift here. This is between me. It's between me, you, and 1,000 people watching right now. Okay. So here's what you do. Don't tell anybody.
I won't tell this.
Okay. What we do is we do a comic book giveaway extravaganza tied to Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog.
Okay, right. So what would be the grift?
So whenever you hit a certain sales threshold, you're giving away some comics.
But who gets the comics? I give them away to who?
You randomly choose
them.
Perhaps amongst the people that or perhaps when you purchase it, it's thrown in there with your order.
But what if they don't want the comics? I could do that. That's an idea.
Ooh, yeah, that is true. That's true. You could do it from the people that because it's live, so they could tell you, "Hey, I want this. This is me." Like, and you can pick from the viewers.
It's not a bad. I got to think through this.
Think about it. Think about the implementation.
I'm open. I'm all ears.
Look, I think you can make a lot of money. That's just me. Anyway, it's going on right now. Popcorn Power, member for 5 months. What's up, Popcorn Power? Thank you so much for joining the Base Legal Mindset. All you Chats and Stacy's out there, love and appreciate all of you. Britt Cormier says Storm was a black woman and she was an immigrant from the X-Men in the 80s. Nobody had an issue because it was well written and sure in their place. Yes.
And she was an interesting character and she was powerful.
Cancel Storm, get her out of there. Nobody said nobody ever. This whole narrative that comic book nerds were a bunch of racist, homophobic, sexist people is bullshit. They were the most progressive. You made them into a bad thing because you came into the space and you forced this stuff. So you forced them to say what nobody wanted to say. They're the last people that wanted that. They're the first to bend the knee and to simp and do other stuff, which is why you went into that market because you knew they were going to be open-minded and you've created the thing. Comicsgate, all those things, they came because they pushed too far. The MCU came from people that love comics, Nerdrotic. The guy loves comics. It's undisputable that guy loves comics. Geeks and Gamers, the whole squad with Jeremy. They love nerdy shit and they love gaming, right? These people love what they're doing. Listen, Disney, I grew up on Disney. I love Disney. So does Steve. I don't want to have to do this, but they're shitting on my childhood.
And I love Marvel. I love Marvel comics.
I'm sorry. I'm mad about that,
Hey, can I show you something cool?
Yeah.
Want to see how cool this is?
Only if it's cool.
This is
only
cool.
If it's cool, Steve.
One of my favorite. Well, here's my favorite comic book of all time. You know what this is?
Silver Surfer, yeah. That's
Silver
awesome.
Surfer. That's an original Silver Surfer #1 in mint condition, baby. That's a value. But look at this. Because somebody knows, I won't know say his name, but knows that I'm a big Silver Surfer fan. Look at what one of my fans sent me.
Oh, that's super cool, guys.
Isn't that cool?
I like that.
Yes. This was the hidden hand. He did this for me. Hand drew it and sent. Isn't that sweet? I'll tell you, people are nice out there.
People are very nice. Speaking of which, Shake from Hunger Team says, Grace is my hero. Speaking of Grace Randolph, stop picking on him. She's sensitive. Thanks. Can't see Snake Plutskishin said, how durst you mock Super Karen and friends? Did she not defeat the dreaded manager? P.S. The domestic box office included Canada box office, which, by the way, the thing about international box office, as explained by my good homeboy, Valiant Renegade, is they take a much smaller cut of international revenue. So international revenue, you have to cut, you already cut domestic revenue in half. You cut it again abroad. So it's like 25% of it's you can ask Valiant, he knows more about the numbers. Don't quote me on that, but it's less than the domestic. So you have to actually think about that differently. So I think Canada, you might have to reduce that amount. So yeah, that's actually pretty bad. And of course, yeah, there's a live photo here. You know, this meme here. Let's fight somewhere empty. The Marvels Theater. We were seeing so many photos from these theaters. So many photos from these theaters that were absolutely empty. People were going to screenings that have nobody in the theater. It's embarrassing. That is embarrassing for a Marvel movie to be on that level. Let's hear. Jay Liebgott says, two of my favorite streamers together, Gosney and Andrew. Yes, absolutely.
Good to see you. Jay's one of my favorite. He loves it when I say his pronounce his name, Jay Liebgott.
Jay Liebgott, yeah. He's really, really great. Been a great supporter of my channel for a long time.
Hey, check it out. My Rumble's ranting over here too. You got Rumble rants?
Oh man, I also got one on local, so we'll go in order here. We'll finish up with YouTube. Tim says, I just got to repeat a rant. Hey man, repeat away. Big Bang Theory is what I blame for most of the invasion of the geek nerd space by a bunch of regressive tourists that don't care about the IP and polluted it with stupidity. The funny thing about Big Bang Theory is that the actors on Big Bang Theory that played the nerds actually know nothing about nerd shit. Actually, Kaylee, the female actor, knew more than they did. Now, she's not like a super uber nerd, right? But like she knew more about the nerd stuff than the guys did. The guys were like, I don't even know about this. I don't get these jokes, you know? But actually she knew more. It's kind of funny. But yeah, no, that it's one of the things I could see. It's one of the things. I think it became cool to be a nerd. And also there was money in it. I say this all the time, but girls that cannot be models decided, oh, well, I can't be a model because maybe I'm too short or whatever, or I'm too curvy. But if I put on this costume, I can be a cosplay model and I can make some money and I can go to these conventions. Oh, and a lot of these things.
Yeah, and the girls get mobbed. They go to the Star Wars convention. It's like 10 to 1, and you can be an average chick. But if you're into Star Wars, guys, you're in the zone, right? I mean, it's like it's actually a pretty good mating strategy for the average.
I mean, Anna's genius for that. And I mean, that's Star Wars girl. I mean,
science fiction, Marvel, Star Wars nerds. I mean, they may be nerds, but they're not. They're nerds. They're not going to be like violent people. They're going to be hard. They're going to work. They got a lot of they're making money to support their Star Wars.
Yeah, they're doing stuff. They're contributing.
Yeah, they're positive. They're looking if they got some imagination. I mean, it's not a bad. You could do a lot worse, you know.
Better than this, right? Better than this. Like Marvel eventually confirms the first 3 Young Avengers, right? It's very surprising, right?
Well, yes.
It's like
of course. Why? Of course. What about Mantis? Mantis is a good character, you know.
Yeah, and she is a unique character that was an original character. Well, sorry guys, I don't know the lore. I don't know about the comics for Mantis.
Yes,
right?
The comics. She was original back in the day. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so no, she was definitely original, and those original characters are liked. People like those characters. You don't need to ham-fist it in there. But we also got this news from the MCU update here, which is really interesting. So South Park made fun of Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh,
and they put a lot of the burden on Kathleen Kennedy. But we got this news here from Kevin Feige. This is an article clip from an article which is titled, Marvel's Kevin Feige almost quit over the lack of diversity while making Avengers, says Mark Ruffalo. He changed the whole Marvel universe. So saying Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, they've been given a pass. They've been given a pass on a lot of this stuff. And I want to say they don't deserve the pass. They're all in on those guys were in on that Iger, Feige, KK. They're all in on this MCU stuff. They're all part of this. It's part of their corporate plan. And how do you know that? Well, you know that because if you look at their corporate policies, once again, I'm a corporate attorney, right? And you see what WDW Pro posted right here. Disney World cast members are now being presented with the need to declare their pronouns on name tags. It starts with Epcot custodians. So they're now, as a company, forcing you to pick a pronoun and openly declare this to a world, which is a political thing because this is their corporate culture, right? They have a corporate culture, and this is it. And this is why Nelson Peltz is doing a proxy war, which I'm covering, which will often probably may end up in a lawsuit, right? Perlmutter, if they don't get board seats, it certainly may. So you've got a lot of stuff out there that shows their corporate culture, and it needs to change. It needs to be updated to be back to what it was, to be back to the days of Walt Disney, right? More Walt Disney and less Disney.
Boy, you're just the super rumble rants. This is just, we can just keep doing this. I'm having fun.
Look, Messin, I gotta flow. A lot of these other people, they don't have a good cadence. I'm gonna give some flack. Uncivil, I see you're in the chat. Take some notes. Steph, the Alter Nerd, you guys take some notes too. You guys don't know how to flow. Your boy Mindset's got flow. Your boy's got flow. I see a YouTuber Rumble Rant super chat. I flow into it.
You're bringing the Florida man Zen.
I flow into shilling Brucey the One Night Wonder Dog. You see how that works? That works.
Available only at SteveGosney.com. Nowhere else. You can't buy it at Disney.
Uncivil Law's already learning. He's got the notes out. He's got the notepad out.
Okay,
he's taking some notes.
Take notes.
Yeah, you're gonna have some specific notes for you later on Civil, so stick around. All right, so we've got here some Rumble rants and some other stuff to cover. So let's get to it. All right, so Occupant 42 says, I was upset when Battlestar Galactica was announced that Starbuck would be female. Then I saw the show and I love the character because she was well written and developed. And yeah, I think that the way they
100%.
did updated Starbuck, I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a lot of Battlestar Galactica. I would say like 50% of it at least. It was good. It was really good. I think they did a good job.
I'll make a plug. The Battlestar Galactica reboot was great up until maybe the last 3 episodes, which were an absolute disaster. And
I didn't watch the end. Yeah, that's what I.
You should watch it through about halfway through that. It's tough. I mean, if you just trust Gosney on this one. If you're going to watch it, enjoy it, watch it, and then stop watching. Don't watch the last 3 episodes. Because there's the problem, and you will be.
Okay, people are already. I love the nerds because they're already. That's what I love about geek culture and nerds. There's already disagreements in the chat. Like it's awful and freaking awful. I love that, by the way. That's the difference between real nerds and not real nerds. If you really are a nerd, if you're a real nerd, you like to have a debate about this stuff. You enjoy it. You don't run away from it and say, oh, no, I'm scared to argue about Battlestar Galactica. No, you want that stuff. You want the confrontation. The problem is you bring people in the space that aren't actually engaged with this content, and they only want to shut it down. Oh, my God. Gosney!
I'm just saying.
You have real geek credit right now.
I'll tell you, I got geek credit. Don't believe. Well, I mean, come on. Have I ever said anything else? Have I ever denied my geekdom?
No, not at all. Not at all. By the way, this is specific. Benny says, Andrew, you're just a weeb, not really a nerd. Okay, I know geek, nerd, and weeb. First of all, weeb is just a specific subset of like nerd or geek. So I would say actually geek. It's a subset of geek. It's like anime geek, right? But I don't just like anime. To be fair, I watch a lot of anime because I think it's better than a lot of modern stuff. But I don't just watch anime. I really love Dune. I really love a lot of sci-fi. I really love a lot of other fantasy. I read all the Game of Thrones books. So I don't exclusively I don't call myself like entirely a weeb, right? But I will accept the weeb mantle. Tim Riggs says, I'm willing to listen to Mark Ruffalo about as much as I'm willing to use a pineapple covered in hot sauce.
That's a well-crafted sentence. As a writer of many books, I will say this chat is an example.
This is good.
This is how you should write. I'm impressed.
Look, where's jokes like this in a Marvel movie? If you got one of these people, if Captain Marvel was like, wow, this is like a pineapple covered in hot sauce, uses a suppository. If she dropped that, I would have actually laughed when I saw the movie. But instead, there was no laughing to be had. There was literally zero laughing to be had.
This is why people are here watching Andrew Legal Mindset and not in the theaters watching Mrs. Marvel bore them to death. Because we've got entertainment come. We're interactive. We're entertainment.
My streams are by thousands of percent more profitable than Disney because they're in the negatives, right? Like I'm doing nothing but like turning on my camera and talking with another Florida man. That's what we're doing right now.
Right.
We're talking about this stuff. We're running a better budget than they are. We're getting look at our marketing budget. It's me talking about Brucey the One Night Wonder Dog. Oh man, look at that. Oh God, lower budget and more turnout. That's exactly right.
Well, just to get an understanding, like why people say, why don't you sell on Amazon? Because in order to make the money I make on one book from steveghazi.com, I'd have to sell 17 from Amazon. Now, who goes there and like, if somebody goes to Amazon, they're not going to find my book. The only reason they know about it is because we're talking about it. They know me and we're talking about it.
It's not a good ROI. It's not a good ROI.
No, it's stupid. Why would I do that? I mean, it's like, it's really easy. My checkout, Farmhand Tom did the checkout for steveghazi.com. He did the whole website. It worked like a machine. It's great.
$1 tip from Ben SC says, when it comes to Disney, you are the penultimate expert, especially with the whole special district situation. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely,
obviously my super expertise is the special district situation, but there's no other lawyer at all that's been covering any of the other Disney lawsuits, right? They've got half a dozen lawsuits. The other ones haven't even touched that. There have been some that have jumped on stream, like Ron Coleman. He streamed with me on the Disney lawsuits. I think Joe was brought on to opine on it once, I think. You know, they've like casually commented on it, but it's just like me commenting on the Maya case. I didn't really cover the substance of that case that much. So yes, my opinion as a lawyer is it's okay, but I would defer to somebody who covered that, a lawyer who covered that case end to end, right? I would not defer to a lay person that covered it end to end, especially if they don't have a background in that sort of case, right? Because they may not know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to the law, not the impression of the jury, which I think is valuable from a layperson, right? But if it comes to the elements of the law, I don't give a fuck what a rando on the internet says about the elements of the law, right? We'll get into that. We'll get towards that. Is This Live says, I was forced to post my pronouns. It would be God/King. And since that would be a Persian God King, if you don't support me, you would be racist. Yes, Persian. I like how you say Persian, not Iranian. I love that, by the way. I had an Iranian girlfriend. Made it very clear. I'm Persian. Right?
Pronouncing your pronouns is culturally, what do you call it? Cultural appropriation and culturally insensitive. Because my wife's from the Philippines and they don't have pronouns. So she's upset. You know, she gets confused. She gets confused with pronouns on he and she, confusing her with more stuff. So I'm offended by your demanding pronoun usage when my wife is very bad with pronouns. How's that for cultural?
That's actually, yeah, that's really good. That's really good. There's a lot of cultures that do not have pronouns. You're literally forcing pronouns on another. That's literal colonism, right? Yeah. Like colonialism. And the way that they describe it, that is what that is, right? But they don't care when it works for their agenda. They'll do it, right? For example, when they go around the world trying to force, you know, for example, let's trans kids in Afghanistan. Is that something the Afghanis want? Is that something Afghani culture is pro doing? No, they're not, right? They're not. So how about we don't push that on other, like, I'm not in support of that, you know? Ted Park says, I watched the stream from Gaza when it was completely smoked out rather than go watch the Marvels. Right. Oof. Oh.
That's right. Watch that. Have you seen they have these cameras that are like the Gaza Strip and it's like black. Yeah.
There's a reason why.
Imagine like tuning in, like waiting for the explosion to happen. If you're into that,
there's a reason why I don't cover that topic. Yeah,
there's a better stream. If you want to watch that kind of stuff, go watch some of the volcano coverage from Iceland. That's cool. Have you seen?
Did you see all the cracks? There's like
the
giant
like the cracks in the houses, and they're going, "Oh, there's another earthquake." It's really cool.
It's like, well, you're on a volcanic island, so enjoy that. Yeah. But you're fully green, Steve. They're all green in Iceland. They have green energy.
Well, that's the problem. They need to shut down all those geothermal plants. It's obviously causing the volcanoes.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. It's causing the volcanoes. Magician Sapphire says, Mindset got the vapors because he's turning Japanese. I think you're turning Japanese. I really think so.
There's vapors, my karaoke. He put the name of the band in the chat. So
yeah, I like it.
Very clever. I see what you're doing.
These people are clever. I have some high demand for me to do a karaoke episode that will be a locals exclusive, supporters only version, but that may or may not happen on locals. I think I'm being bribed enough to do it on locals. So look forward to that, locals. Aaron Hack says, not a nerd, just here to watch you two. Well, you're a nerd now. You're an official law nerd now, Aaron Hack. So
Are
welcome.
there Florida man nerds, or are there people that
No, she's a base nerd because she's a member of the base legal mindset. She's been a member for 3 months, so she's absolute Stacy out there, Aaron. Yeah, I'm assuming your gender. All right, really now for 20 said I would pick a pineapple rather than listen to old Joe's Veterans Day speech. You know what's funny? A lot of these streams and other like speeches of Democratic politicians, these people in power, they get less views than YouTubers. So like we will end up with more views and everything else. And they will, particularly on the other platforms like Rumble and stuff like that, we will destroy like actual politicians or corporations that get out there and try to push stuff.
Oh, I've got to share.
Fantastic.
Let me share. My Florida man brother, you'll appreciate this. I was having, there was a Florida Supreme Court oral argument that I had to watch because there was like a death penalty case. There was a speedy trial argument case, and there was another case. I figured there was 3 cases, all 3 of them I was interested in. So I watched it. I'm like, I'm going to watch this. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to live stream me watching my job, right? Which is watching the Supreme Court oral argument. My live stream pulled down 5 times the Supreme Court's own website live stream.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's like, for example, I want to live stream one of the CFTOD meetings, right? The Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. So I'm going to do that. I just have to pick a good one or a time when I'm free, whatever. But I know that my live stream is going to get like 10x what theirs is because it's like, first of all, I have more followers. And second of all, I'm like adding commentary on what is normally a pretty boring meeting. Not to be fair, I've sat through many of these. I can say objectively they're boring. But when you add commentary because you're not in the room and they can't hear you, right? It becomes more interesting. It's MS3K.
Here's the only good one on there is this guy. I love it.
Yeah.
I hope they don't.
Yeah. It's like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's an idiot. This guy, what the f- are you talking about? You can pause it. You can go for it. It's really... that makes it a little bit more fun. All right. I think we've gotten through the Disney MCU stuff. So if you're solely here for Disney stuff, well, I hope you've been entertained by that. Now we're going into Maya, to the Take Care of Maya case, kind of transitioning as we hit the hour mark, and not the type of transitioning
that trying to get under the wire, though. He's trying, don't avoid.
It's fine. It's fine. It says, I bet people would rather watch Joe try to walk up steps than watch him speak, which is why some people watch car racing.
Hey, I'm in Daytona. That's close to home.
That's fighting words.
My guitar, this guitar right here, my Martin D41, which was bought with Andrew Branca money. That was my first law class. But I took my pile of cash he gave me and I bought that guitar. That was Mike Helton's guitar. You know who Mike Helton is? President of NASCAR.
Oh, really? I don't know that. I'm not.
Yeah, come on.
Full confession.
You gotta be a Daytonan to know these things.
I've been to races. I enjoy going. Like with many sports, I enjoy going. I enjoy the experience. But I'm not a person who uses my mental space for people's names that are in sports.
Well, Helton was the president of NASCAR for a long time. And the race to go to, if you want to come to a cool Daytona race, go to the 24 Hours of Daytona. It's so much less pressure, less traffic, more laid back. You get to see cars running around, all sorts of cool cars. I love the 24 Hours of Daytona. And it's not as expensive. Like the 500 is ridiculously expensive. And the whole thing is nuts, but.
Yeah. Let's do this. All right. So, did you follow the take? So, just as an objective thing, as a prerequisite. So, Steve, what did you know? Because did you follow the Take Care of Maya case? Did you cover it all? Was it something you touched on your streams or channel at all? So
yes,
you're not.
I will say when it first came on, Megan Fox called me and asked me to commentate on something. I forget what it was, some evidentiary question or some kind of trial thing. So on her first stream, when she first started streaming it, because she watched that whole trial beginning to end, front to back, she streamed the whole thing and watched. It was quite an impressive feat, and she got a lot of viewership, right? But I'm not a civil lawyer, right? And I told her, I said, well, the evidentiary objections are the same generally, and I had some thoughts, but I was like, I'm not your guy for lawyer commentary on this trial. And then I think at the last day or two, I also went on and I was there for the verdict on her stream. So I was sort of in the beginning and the end, and then I know she covered the whole thing. So
yeah,
So that
Yes.
so the answer says I kind of get
Well,
it.
I mean more about not about the coverage yet. We'll get there.
But
But
the big
the
big
facts of the
reaction
case.
video that I'm getting a lot of feedback because I didn't know all the details, and I was on Megan Fox's stream when she
Yes.
told me about them like putting the host in the garbage can. Did you hear about that? And I was like, I never heard that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's a lot of facts in this that obviously somebody watched the trial, whether it's her or anybody else, right? Anybody who watches a trial front end to back end is going to have a better knowledge than somebody who doesn't watch the trial front end to back end.
Right.
That's just facts, right? So you have a knowledge of what happened at the trial, what was presented. Now you may not be able to, where the limitations there are, your ability to analyze that, right? A juror is going to analyze facts presented a certain way as a layperson. A lawyer would analyze it a certain way as a lawyer. Also, a Florida lawyer who knows the law, like Steve Gosney, would look at the case knowing the law, knowing the evidentiary rules, and think a certain way about it. Of course, you focus more on criminal, but it was something like, for example, I'll use Peter Tragos, right? Peter Tragos, lawyer, good friend of mine, friend of the channel.
Tragos is excellent.
Tragos knows civil law, right? He knows it very well. So he would have very relevant commentary on it because that's his area of practice. And if I'm on the thing with him, I would defer to him. So there's sort of an order of operation and depends on what type of advice I'm asking for. So if I'm asking for somebody's present sense impression as a juror, then that's something that I would take from a layperson. That's okay. If I'm asking for somebody's commentary on legal elements, right? A basic lawyer should be able to do legal elements. If I'm asking for how they would try that specific case in court, that's something I would want somebody who's not just a lawyer, but a Florida lawyer with that specific background. So you see the levels there. A lawyer is somebody who could comment on stuff like elements. Those are pretty simple amongst different states. They're pretty easy to read from the statute. They can talk about that in terms of pretty much black letter law. But in terms of the practice of that law, that's something you'd want to go even higher on. You'd want to say, okay, well, how would you have done it, right? Most of the lawyers on the internet, most LawTubers, which a lot of people say, and it's very fair, is most of us have no fucking clue because we are not licensed in that jurisdiction. Right, it's true. You're laughing, but it's true, right?
Well,
we're not licensed in that jurisdiction. You probably don't practice that area of law. You're probably not practicing much anyways if you're on YouTube a lot, right? So
some of
yeah,
us.
Right. You are an exception to the rule, my good friend, which is why I love having you on because you are very active in your field. You are a super hyper subject matter expert, particularly if we're asking about something like death penalty.
Yeah,
silly.
Florida, my specialization, I'm actually an expert on Florida criminal trial law, which is interesting because when I put in for a judgeship way back when, and one of the commissioners asked me, well, what do you think you're an expert in? And I said, well, if I was, I don't know, but I'd probably say criminal law. And then one of the commissioners said, you're not board certified criminal law. How can you can't say that? That's like against the rules. So I was like, oh, really? So I went and got my board certification in criminal.
But also, I think that's bullshit because it's like your board certification, that's above and beyond your practical experience. Like, fuck board certification. I'm sorry, I'm saying it right now. Florida bar, fuck board certification. Because it's not just, Steve has been practicing for X years. It's you've got to jump through their hurdle to prove that and pay them for the pleasure of that. How about just Steve has been doing this for long enough to know what the fuck he's talking about?
any benefit at all, and I have to pay the bar $200 a year so that I can say I'm board certified. And I'm like, what does this get me? Absolutely nothing. I don't generate. I'm not asking. I'm a public defender. They send me. They send me the business, right? It's not like it's an advertising tool. I will tell you the Florida Board Certification Criminal Trial Law exam was the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. So, really? Yes, absolutely. Now, I will also say that I was thinking about being double board certified because I'm a glutton for punishment and getting my appellate board certification. Ooh. But when I kind of knew what it was about because I'd already done it. I'm like, I know what they're going to do. So I sat for it for free because if I'm already board certified in criminal trial, I can sit for the appellate. And I'm like, I'm going to see if it's what I think it is. And I sat for it and it was exactly what I thought. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. It was all tricky little timing issues. Like, okay, so, you got 15 days and you've got this and it's a federal thing and it's all these, and I'm like, I've got the easy practical solution. That is, I get my work done on time and ahead of time. I don't worry about counting the absolute minute that I can finally file. But it's like half the questions were stupid timing issues that if I spent a month studying, I could probably do it.
But that's what they want to get you on, because they know those little ticky-tacky timing questions are how they get people, right?
Right. But if it's like, that's not a credential that I care about. I don't care. That's not knowledge.
It's rote memorization, which is not the same thing. There's a huge difference, especially over here. I'm in Asia. Asians are the king. I'll say this. Asia is the king of rote memorization versus actual learning, right? If you ask these guys,
in Korea, you're in Korea, right?
Korea's the king. For example, shout out to if Legal Vice, actually Flux, you're over here. You were in Korea for a bit. English, for example, I'll use English, right? They know words. They rote memorize words that even I sometimes have to look up the word. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Even I don't know this word, and I'm a lawyer, right? It's ridiculous. And they have children memorize it. Like I was seeing middle school children have words that like are super high level. They'll rote memorize all that. But when it comes, it's like, hello, hey, my name is Andrew. They'll be like, 안녕하세요. Like they'll switch to Korean, right? You know, they'll just freeze because they have no practical experience of speaking in a real conversation. They just rote learn, right? And that's not real learning. We've gotten away from that, and we've gotten these stupid ticky-tacky tests which don't actually test anything. So that's where we're at with that. So I'm not trying to credentialize people out. I'm just trying to put people in categories. There's a place for the lay.
I understand what you're saying.
Person. There's a place for a lawyer, and there's a place for an experienced lawyer, which I'm not sticking to. Well,
except that it's not like you're paying for a class when you're tuning into LawTubes. You know, you're basically you're watching just some random drunken idiots talking out their rear ends.
We are 100% sober here, sir.
But I'm just saying, it's like
I'm 90%.
It's not like you're paying. You're not like saying, now I want my money back because I didn't get the legal commentary I was expecting. I had learning objectives here, and you didn't deliver, Mr. Mindset. I want my money back.
Well, I don't know. No, we do have that. It's called comments. I mean, I already have people in the chat who are like, look at this misogynist about that, racist, this and that. I didn't get what I wanted, or you didn't tell me what I wanted because I wanted you to support. I wanted you to support Ukraine. You know,
calm down. It's all right.
Okay, I just hit my table.
Bumping around, you're bumping and grinding. All right.
I got so worked up. You guys got me worked up. All right.
My job. So that's my job here.
Let's move into. I love it.
Hey,
I love it. You're the gator.
Talk over me. Don't talk over me.
You're the gator. I'm Meth.
Hey, look. Don't talk.
All right. We're getting to it. Okay, so let's
all right. You know,
let's get to the coverage.
Okay, hear what we have to say.
So we've got the basic of the case. The case is principally Maya sued the hospital. You know, at the end, she won. She won on several counts. We'll get into the counts. The counts are actually showed in one of the first, I think, the first video I'm going to show here. So they're showed in the video. So we'll pause it and we'll talk about the counts. We'll go through the counts because the counts are relevant, right? And it's relevant to the discussion.
We're going to actually. Well, it's you're in the driver's seat, but you actually want to talk law.
Well, a little bit, nitnoy, a little bit, small amount. All right. A little bit, tiny little bit.
We're having fun. Don't
drag it down. Little bit, just the tip of the law.
Let's work on our jury instructions.
Just to see how it feels. Okay, so we have the trial. It's over. We get a verdict. So that's actually prime time for a stream. And the capital of grifting off of stream timing for verdicts is my man, Nick Rekieta, is of course Nicholas Rekieta. And of course, Nick had that stream popped up. He had a stream that he had right here. You see it right here. You've got a panel where before we hit play, we're going to talk about this for a second. So Nick had this stream.
I can already diagnose I can see there's going to be a problem here.
Okay. Gosney, before I hit play, what characteristics of this, because I describe these all the time. I think I've talked about this with you too. What characteristics here might cause a problem before I hit play?
All right. Well, let's see. Let's count the reasons. Let's count the problems. Just with this one image. Okay. First of all, it's a Rekieta stream, so it's like way too late. Most normal people are sleepy at this point in the time. Okay. I also see there's also usually alcohol involved, especially these two people on the left. These two people, Rekieta and here. And I don't know about
Nick. Jeff and Nick are at least at a resting blood alcohol level of 0.9. Right? They're always above the legal limit.
And then you have 6 people, count them 6, right?
6.
So, and there's an artist, see, like you and I, you're already talking over me, and if you do it again, I'm gonna have to just say something. But we already have a problem talking over each other, right? When you have 6 people talking, especially with 6 streamer kind of people who are used to talking on their own, right?
6 streamer personalities, because streamer personalities want to talk, they want to be heard, they want to get in their 2 cents. I have said this, and I've said this for a long time. I have a rule now, and I've actually been very consistent. Anybody who's heard my streams and knows this. I will not go on a panel with more than 4 squares. If that goes to 5, it's too many. Even 4, I won't do it if I don't know all 4 people and I've streamed with them one-on-one.
Okay,
I will not go on a stream that way.
You cut me off. You're talking over me.
It's an important thing. It's important. I'm a lawyer. I know this. I'm a YouTuber.
Okay, you're a professional YouTuber. I get it. Okay, the other thing is now we also have, let's see, there's 5 male lawyers and 1 female non-lawyer reporter. So I will also add the mix that there's an incongruity, there's an incongruence, there's a disturbance in the force. All right. And then obviously we have the middle bottom square who's lurking in our chat, who looks a little disturbed also. He looks like he's not happy. All right.
He said he was tired. He said in the chat, I'm gonna give him a fair shake now. He said he was tired. Right. And this is into the stream, so that I am to be fair.
I've been on these damn Ricada streams for like hours.
Yes. This is, you can see it. This is an hour and 30 minutes in. So I'm willing to give Homeboy, he has dealt with this for an hour and 30 minutes. He has been on this for an hour and 30 minutes. So he's in it a little bit. He's in a Ricada stream. Probably a couple drinks in. It's a Ricada stream, so everybody's a couple drinks in.
Okay, and now to the personals, analysis,
interpersonal
analysis.
Yeah,
and I know that we have one of the participants who's actually following this right now. So so no offense, this is all in good humor, but
all the offenses from me.
All
the offenses from me.
And look, Tim Riggs is gifting memberships.
It's gifting 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for being based in covering the best of Disney coverage, the best of LawTube drama, the best of whatever we've got. We've got it here on Legal Mindset. And we have 59 memberships. Guys, 10 more memberships and I can say 69. I mean, I'm just saying we get to 69 if we get another 10. I mean, and who doesn't want 69? What type of base legal mindset it would be 69. If we did not get to 69 live on screen with 906 people, right? I mean, sorry, over 1,000 people because we got
you benefit and the other party benefits also at the same time.
Yes, let's go 69 for 69 here. Let's see those memberships.
Wait. Oh,
did we get it? Was that it? No, we're at 60. No, someone has donated 1. Wait, hold on. Was that it? Right there. Oh, there we go. 10. There we go. They're updated. All right.
Doubled it up. Tim, you're a hero.
69. Yeah, that does it. We're at 69 right now. Thank you so much for getting us to 69 for 69. Really great here. Snake C. Plushkin said, I'd argue random, but argue drunken? Wait, what? Oh, argue. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't try to argue when I'm drunk, because I know it's not going to be coherent. Unless it's just like a funny argument, or it's like me and Joe Neerman, right? We're just it's like old men yelling at clouds, Watching me and Joe go is like old men yelling at clouds.
Andrew, end the stream.
You're a sunflower, Joe.
You think they should end the stream?
It's fine. Maybe. Otherwise, I'm in a good mood. I'm not an angry. I don't get angry when I'm drunk. I'm typically in a good mood. And if someone's harshing my buzz, I just F off. I'm like, all right, peace out. This is boring. Let's see.
Vices and I did a 9-hour Brucey Grift stream the other night.
Really? 9 hours?
9 hours. And it was funny because he did great. Jeff is a hero for me because he grifted. We sold 49.
He's got a lot of grifting ability. And Jeff is really a pro grifter. I brought him into this game, but he has passed me in his ability to grift and also to know his audience. He's really gotten those guys down. You got Flux there in the chat. You got the wine moms that I'm sure are out there somewhere. It's really primed. He's really primed in on that grift. And he does a very good job. I really
and the thing about he did the Brucey grift, and we pretty much met our goal at like the halfway mark. And then I'm like, okay, thanks a lot. You know, I invited him to do my intro, my opening statement or whatever you call it, like, you know, intro, the pre-sale and everything for Brucey. And he did a great job. And I'm like, okay, that's great. He's like, we'll just hang out some more. And we just hung out for another 4.5 hours while we just talked. And he blew the monetization of stream. We started watching music videos. You know, we're talking about
look, once you go full yellow or red or whatever, like once that's done, it's just done. Like at that point, you might as well have some fun. Like once you've blown it, we're somehow still, you know what it is, Steve Gozzi? It's you. You are so wholesome that we are still monetized fully.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You are so wholesome.
I got my first, it's funny because I don't know how all this stuff works. It's such a, you know, I should be more on top of it, but I just discovered that people are actually signing up for my little membership things. I have these membership tiers and I'm like, wow, I got people actually doing it. One of them, like I put it at the lowest. I put it like 99 cents because people weren't like, when do you stream? I'm like, I don't know. How do even people know that I'm on? I don't know. I don't know how any of that works. Right. And then so they're signing up for like 99 cents a month at my thing. And I'm looking, all of a sudden I found this thing where all my members are like, oh, look, I got a bunch of people that did it. It was cool. Anyway, what was I talking about?
I don't know, but we're about to talk about some drama, so let's get into it.
Let's talk about more drama. Tim Riggs is kicking in more money, though.
Okay, I'll get to this one real quick. Last one before I go here. I see the locals chat, by the way, but I'm going to save that for the appropriate point because there's a good point when to bring that up. So Tim Riggs for $5 says, would say I'm seeing nasty comments in the chat, folks. I would ask just to try and be kind to each other. Yeah, look, my rule is, look, don't spam the same type of thing. If all you're doing in the chat is you're just sitting there shitting on somebody in particular, whoever it is, like give it a pause. Like, how about you, and also add some thought to it, add some analysis.
What's the point? Right? If you're pounding on somebody, it's like, okay.
And even if it doesn't matter whether it's me or anybody else, Kurt, Megan, Steve, Nick, whatever, like don't do that, right? That will get you catch you a bit. They can try to pound on me. It's not gonna work very well. But I mean, I already see it. Like, I laugh. People think that it's the first time I'm gonna I see people's racist, misogynist, mansplaining, whatever, right? You think that's the first time I've heard that, sister? You know, come on. Like that's like first grade. Come on, get something creative. Think a little bit more.
Boy,
if you're just gonna spam that, you're gonna get banned eventually.
Some of your super chatters, I mean, those were some world-class super chats. I'm telling you, like the
real humor
went into them.
There's real humor.
They could be Disney Marvel writers.
Better than Disney Marvel writers.
Right.
They would make money. That's something that they can't do. So let's get into people making money, right? And by the way,
okay, so we haven't finished the analysis of just this picture because we also have the drama, the prior dramas prior drama between the bottom two squares on the right. So there was a prior interaction.
I would argue that prior interaction caused drama for a lot of the folks on the screen, right? So there's drama that happened with Nick's community. I think even to a certain extent, Vices got involved in that. You know, so like that drama sucked up a lot of LawTube, and that's something that's already happened. So there's known drama involving the bottom quadrant there.
And just so people don't understand, here is the law card that is illustrating the drama, and that is the absolute cluelessness of our friend Megan Fox when she said some of the best relationships begin at the auto parts stores. Which was, and in all honesty, she got completely torched by everybody on the panel.
As God intended, as really was intended by, as God intended. Ellie says right here, money talks, bullshit walks. Streamers, watch your numbers. If you're nasty, people will unsub. But Ellie, you do have to understand that oftentimes YouTube does just randomly unsub people. Yeah. So you have to understand, especially if you don't stream, it's a very consistent pattern. I see this over the last 3 years of me streaming. It's not about me doing anything. Sometimes you do nothing. Like you don't stream for a couple days, which happens to me a lot, especially lately. I've been in Tokyo, I've been traveling, whatever. I'll miss 2 or 3 days. And all of a sudden I lose 100, 200 subs, right? You know, so it's like you did nothing, right? It's not because of anything you said. It's because YouTube removes people if you're not actively entertaining them. They don't like you taking a break. They want to whip you into submission. So they slough off a couple 100 subs. That is a normal thing. And there's also sometimes where you talk about a topic, let's say Trump, right? or anything involving the Roni Rona, right? Where they just punish you for covering that topic. They say, nope, sorry, you're going to lose about 1,000 subs, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. There's a point at which when I was closing on 100,000 where because I talked about the big T-Dog, I lost like 3,000 subs, and I got them all back talking about Disney. Thank you, Disney. But it was an uphill battle. Forbidden by Biblical Knowledge says, I respect people for their strengths. Kurt, law, particularly constitutional law. Kurt knows very well constitutional law. Megan, advocacy. Rakeda, base jokes. Legal M, Disney. Gavea, political. Right? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Rob is the gayest one on the panel.
No, I disagree. I have personal experience.
Well, no, Nick is clearly the gayest one, obviously. He self-admits it.
Clearly, Nick is the gayest one of them.
Nick, have you seen his belt that he wore to Mar-a-Lago? Like, have you seen that belt? Like, Avril Lavigne would look masculine in that compared to Nick. And it's absolutely embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Also,
I'm just here to report that the drunker Nick gets, the gayer he becomes.
Very gay.
And
by the way, we have 600 likes. Thank you so much for getting us there to 600 likes. And also, thank you so much for Is This Live dropping another 20 memberships. So we are now blowing up there with memberships. Thank you so much for that.
Could we set a record for membership?
We're 100 off. So,
okay, but still, we're getting close.
We're moving. We got a good clip here. So we're going to hit 1,000 here.
Too. You got Rumble rocking?
Yeah, it's rocking too. No, Rumble's got a lot of folks over there. Oh, we got a big one over there. Okay. You know what? I see you, Occupant. I see you, Rumble Rant. Let me get it when we bring this up. We're going to hit play here shortly. So I endorse everything you said, Steve. All the things you said. So number one.
Well, so there was prior history here, right?
Yes.
And I don't think it was ever resolved.
No.
So I think that, and there's obviously a personality difference here. Right.
Yes.
I mean, they're very different people, different life stations. And there was the personalities obviously were incongruent in a prior time. Right. So the host of the show should have been wizened enough to know that this is not the proper assemblage of panelists. Okay.
Once again, who's the host of the show is responsible for that?
I would blame the host of the show. Now, I have it on good information that the bottom right corner here actually was the one that suggested the middle two, because they have also been covering this trial and might have said to the host.
Well, I will say, and I normally will never do this, right? Yeah. And this is something that, but there are certain times when folks will court drama, right? And they will propose it, perhaps because their channels are mainly centered on drama. Now, obviously, I've called out Nick for this. Nick knows this, so I'll say it again because I've already said it publicly. I said during the ISOM stuff, and I'll say it once again. Nick even says it. We're going to play a clip later, but I think it is very beta of Nick I think it's a lame move on Nick's part to court the drama and then pretend he isn't. Just own it, brother. Say you're creating it intentionally because you are. Because like Steve said, it's very common sense. You have a lot of people on. You have a known conflict of drama. You have a situation, a situation that's going to invite debate. It's going to invite personality conflict. And it's proposed by someone who's courting drama. So if you look over here, that particular person may, as their channel concept, be courting drama because look at this. I just happen to have an invite to come on her stream here in my DMs. Look at this. Oh, look, it's an invite in my DMs from Miss Megan Fox.
Oh,
it's an invite in my DMs from Megan. So,
well,
you think I'm not going to come on that stream and there's going to be drama?
I just am morally opposed to anybody who would create a stream to create grift and generate memberships off of drama. Anybody who would do that, who would do a stream on the topic of drama, is got to be ejected from the
ejected. Kick them out.
Kick them out. Who would ever do such a thing?
Who would ever do that? Who would ever be at 90 new members and be pushing for 200? Let's go.
At 100 memberships, I could see it. At 100 memberships, I could see it. But 90?
Yeah.
No way. Come on,
90? And we got only 1,000 people on YouTube and only about 200 on Rumble. God, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with this? Okay.
Well, is it a fair observation commenting on our chat lurker as well as anybody else? I got a hair problem, by the way.
Well, actually, to be very fair,
I learned I have a bald spot because I'm on stupid YouTubes.
Mm-hmm. I will say this about our chat lurker, and a lot of people have learned this about me. I cannot be peer pressured into bringing somebody on. A lot of people want me to they'll see somebody in the chat and be like peer pressure, whatever. I don't do that because I'm aware of the context, the topic, what it's going to create, the environment it's going to create, what type of conversation I'm trying to have, the tempo of the conversation, the candor of the conversation, the pacing, the one-on-one nature of the conversation, or the solo stream nature of the conversation. I factor in all of these things before I make that decision. I don't just get pressured by that to change my stream. If I intend to solo stream, I solo stream. I don't give a fuck who's in the chat. I don't care if it's PewDiePie. I don't care if she's like, I don't care who's sliding in my DMs. Right? Doesn't happen. And Uncivil knows that. Now, Uncivil, Pat, in the past, he's there, right? He says happy to watch, right? But in the past, right? In the past, homie, I've told you, I said, hey, don't ask me to come on when I don't ask you on. I'll ask you on when I want you on. And if I don't want you on, I won't ask you on. Right? So it's very clear, you know, and usually while I'm streaming, if I see somebody and I want them on, I send them the link. I say, here's the link. But if not, I said, this is the type of show we're having right now. And it changes its nature if I bring somebody on. So I control that, right? That's my control. And as a host, I accept responsibility for that. So if I was to bring Kurt on, and let's say right now, I send Kurt and Megan an invite, I would take responsibility for that. Other streamers will say, no, that's them, not me. No, you're creating the environment. It's like putting candy in a pool and wondering if a kid drowns. You know, it's like, yeah, like you put it on like a floaty in the middle of the pool, you know, and you play ice cream truck music and like a kid, it's like, yeah, that's your fault. It's like, it's called, you know, a nuisance, right? Like a attractive nuisance, right? You're creating an attractive nuisance. You are the attractive nuisance of the literal internet. How about that? Legal in a YouTube context. You are an attractive nuisance for the internet. As a host, you need to know that. That's what it is. And if you're doing that, just say it. Be like, look, I'm catfishing these people. I'm honeypotting them. They're coming in.
I don't know what you got to explain. Somebody said I was a cat or I was catfishing or something. I don't somehow my name.
You look just as sexy in real life as you do on stream. There's no catfishing there, Steve.
Okay. Well, but let's also just as
okay. You know the definition of catfish, though, right?
I don't. But
okay, sorry. So it comes from the context of especially again the dating context. We take a photo and it does not look like your real life. So oftentimes it's a fatter person or older or a different gender and different person entirely. So
okay. Well, maybe people say that my picture look like it. This is the picture. Does this look like me in the back of my book? I'll show you here. People say this is
No. It's a younger you. I can see me. It's a younger, cleaned up you. Look, give me a hairbrush in like 10 minutes, and give me a girl who's professional in makeup. We'll get you there in 10 minutes. You know, it was a younger you. It's accurate. It's not inaccurate. Okay, you're not putting it up on a dating profile. It's a professional picture.
I'm not. Yes, I'm out of that market. But
you're married, right?
Is it fair to say, going back to our drama, because we do have to service our customers?
We will service our customers fully. They're going to get a full release on this.
A full ride with a happy ending and all?
No. Maybe an unhappy ending, because some of the stands are not going to be happy. The Kurt stands won't be happy with it. The Ricada stands, nobody's ever happy, which is why I love it.
Nobody's happy.
I love it when nobody's happy. Dave says, hey, right now, after the modern dating AutoZone stream, I was at AutoZone and the counter girl was not bad. She could come fix my car. Hey, listen, over here in Asia, there's lots of counter girls that are really hot working and all sorts of things. I mean, it happens. Occasionally they'll be there, but saying that should be your hunting ground is an entirely different scenario. So without further ado, I think we should just jump right into this. So let's just go with this. I'm going to hit play. I am going to pause this when it gets a little heated here, and also when we get to some elements. So let's just play this. This is halfway through the stream. Obviously, you see it's an hour and 30 minutes out of 3 hours. So this is when it gets spicy talking about Maya.
Issue, but they found medical malpractice here, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
They awarded. The jury found everything. They checked all the boxes.
Well, that's actually not necessarily true, I think. We'll look at the list here real quick. I don't think they found medical malpractice. I think they found medical negligence. Now, I may be wrong here, but I think that's a different thing, right? I'm not, once again, not my practice area.
Details that I really am not following this trial.
And this is where I would defer to a attorney who watched the trial.
Well, I don't know if I did defer because one thing, Megan Fox, she's a reporter and she does have, I'm sure she has all the paperwork with the jury verdict forms, because I know she did at the end say she actually got the verdict forms and showed them.
We're about to get a document with the damages pulled up, right? So you'll get that. Right. We'll get that pulled up in a second. But yeah, no, I'm sure she's got that too. But yeah, there were several charges wrapped in there and some really horrible charges, right? Including abuse, including battery, I think is in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. But obviously when we're talking about elements, it is important to specify between elements. I mean, if I told you, Ghazni, for example, it's a homicide case, right? And someone didn't make the distinction between manslaughter and first-degree murder or capital murder, would you not point that out?
Yes, that would be an appellate issue. And
well, no, but I mean on a stream. Like if someone was on a stream, you said that you had a streamer and they were confusing manslaughter with first-degree murder, would you correct the other streamer when they made that mistake?
I don't know. It depends on the room. I mean,
you're such a lawyer. You are such a lawyer. You are such a lawyer, Ghazni. I love you. I love you. But your it depends answer. You're such a lawyer.
It depends on the room. Look, you got your late night Ricada drinking stream with people talking over each other, and you're going to make fine legal distinctions. Really, is that really does it matter to world justice?
Are you making a time, place, and manner argument on me right now?
Possibly. I'll pull law on you.
I'll allow it. I like you, Ghazni, so I'll allow it. All right, here. Says,
typical biased judge doesn't follow the law, just goes with his gut.
Just goes with his gut. Let's grift the drama. Yeah, absolutely.
What would really make this stream better? 10 more memberships.
And also on top of that, we're over 1,000. We only have 600 likes. Let's get to 750 because we hit it at 1,000. Let's get 10 more members. Let's get to 100 memberships and 750 likes. Let's do it as we play this over here.
But
yeah, the jury was like, no, yeah, there you go.
So did they, forgive my ignorance, what is the basis of the medical malpractice claim? I came back and I was going to do a joke about how all of our hospitals have a standard issue rocket launcher, but I didn't want to do that because you guys are already getting disbarred.
Ian, or not Ian, here's the.
So I'm going to read this real quick before they start arguing and yelling. So here he has pulled up, and look, I assume this is correct. I assume he's been following this. I trust that this information is generally okay. So he has false imprisonment, battery, medical negligence, fraudulent billing, survivorship, and wrongful death, right? So if it was only medical negligence, then technically it's not medical malpractice. But like I said, these are all very serious things, and it's the verdict. So obviously there's a conclusion by a jury that these things were committed, right? Which I didn't watch the trial, so presumptively I'm willing to believe the jury unless somebody comes out there and argues elsewise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got so far. That's what I'm taking from this. As
like a lot of numbers. It's like
a lot of numbers,
spreadsheets and numbers, and what's the bottom line?
A lot of numbers here. A lot of stuff.
Is this really? If you want to do this kind of in-depth legal analysis,
this is definitely some lawtism
that you would assemble, huh?
It's definitely some lawtism called lawtism.
Yeah, but would you assemble a panel of 6 people to go through a spreadsheet to talk numbers?
These 6 people to talk numbers?
Yeah, I mean,
while you're drunk at night, maybe. I don't know. If you want to have a good time, I don't know. Maybe not these 6, but like a panel of 6.
This is
I love it. By the way, shout out to another content creator here, potentially criminal, my good friend Sean, who says, "Did I just stumble into a DSP stream? Just 5 more subs." Yeah, we're going there. Except for I'm not going full DSP because I'm not doing that on stream.
What is DSP?
Dark Side Phil. He's a really known guy. He just will always. He's always so pathetic. He's always asking for like, oh, I just need more subs. Just want this many more. But listen, I'm doing it for you guys, and I'm doing it for Brucey the One Eye Wonder Dog, a wholesome book
who's only available at steveghazni.com, and it's available for all of your Christmas children needs. Okay.
Oh,
you
it's
want
great.
Brucey in your life because
It's great.
doesn't everybody want a one-eyed wonder dog?
Ellie, we will get to this. Name calling isn't proper to great. More Grift. I'm gonna bring this one back. I'm gonna save this one when we get to the name calling part. We're not there yet. We're still on the other part, but we are on 100 legal mindset
All right.
memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Do you have
Mr.
like a Joe horn that you can blow?
Chat of the day. I have to get like a vuvuzela. I have to find something like Asian, right? Maybe it's like a gong. Oh, I need a gong.
Some kind of sound effect.
I need to get a gong. Effect. That's super racist in Asian. It's great. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So it's great. It's absolutely great. Okay. And then we got over here. I have to stop sharing this so I can show it real quick. I want to show the Rumble rant. And that is over here on Rumble. This is relevant to what we're talking about.
Rumble rants are on Rumble. See there?
So Occupant 42 says a hospital can't commit legal malpractice, can they? So if they exceed their legal authority to treat a patient, wouldn't it be medical malpractice? I don't know about a cause of action for legal malpractice against a hospital because the hospital is not the lawyer. So in what instance would it be legal malpractice? A hospital can only create medical malpractice because they're not lawyers.
This is all this civil shit. Oh, and can I shout out to Michael and Marissa who actually bought Brucey the One. All this grifting is all in good fun, but they actually bought Brucey the One I Love on because they want love in their life. They want their children to learn how to read.
They want wholesome stuff. Be wholesome like that. And do not be degenerate like my locals, where they post a Jack Murphy meme for 6.9, which is 69 for 69. You know, we got Agent Murphy over here guarding your rear, saying, I've seen some shit. We all have here on LawTube, and we definitely have over there on locals.
I nearly needed you tonight. Thank you very much for having me on.
It's cathartic, isn't it?
Isn't
this like really
whenever
cathartic?
I'm on, it's just like the most fun I ever have on any stream, you know? It's so much great.
I just don't feel like the other guys are having this fun anymore. I feel like they kind of feel like they're suffering. They're suffering. You know,
any of these people look at the happy faces here in the Ricada lineup here.
There's none, and it's like Nick because he's drinking. Like that's pretty much it. Unhung Heroes, and also because he made a ton of money, which is the comment here.
And he knows that the fight is going to get talked about. It's going to reverberate through the internet.
Oh yeah, and then back to him, and then he does an apology stream. It's a cycle, right? He does an apology stream that's like a sort of an apology, but it's not really, but it is, but it isn't. Is it or isn't it? It's the will they, won't they? He's the coquette, right? You know, it's great. It's a great cycle, and I am here for it because I profit off this too. Thank you very much, Nick Ricada. So which one of you is Dvorsky?
Even though he didn't rumble, even though J-Rock didn't say,
appreciate you, brother.
I'm talking over you.
That's okay. I forgive you because I don't forgive you anymore. You're done. You're done, Gosling. You're done. You're done. You're done. By the way, people need to use that power more. Like if somebody's getting out of hand,
it's the double.
Well, no, I mean the host.
I like the double horns down.
The horns down, yeah. The shocker, people need to do it more. The host, look, if someone's getting out of hand, I'm not above being like, you're done. Like if they're like you're in timeout now. Like if I'm the host and I had somebody on, which I wouldn't, but let's say I did, theoretically, I'm sorry, I'm not above it. They're gone. They're gone. You're the captain now. This is Captain Phillips. You're the captain, right? So let's continue with this.
Here we
go.
My brain is
God
fried.
Nick is how I got. That is my name.
So you're Pope Nick. You're not God Nick. So here's the breakdown. False imprisonment. False imprisonment.
Tomato. I say you're excommunicated. That's cool. No.
So false imprisonment, 26 million. Battery, 31 million. Medical negligence. That's med-mal. Med-mal is 26.7. Fraudulent billing, 5 million. Survivorship, wrongful death. Wrongful death was 108.
So sorry. So Rob just said that medical negligence is med. If he's followed that closely and that's what it is effectively, then whatever, right? But my understanding was it was different cause of action, but maybe I'm wrong there. That's just like little point there. Continuing.
That was the one that they needed the audit to remain in that. IIED is 10 million. So
But
That's the
like,
breakdown.
what was the basis of the medical malpractice claim? Like, what did it say? So it's in how they treated her. They must have found that the treatment that Johns Hopkins gave was caused further harm, right? Like, that's the idea.
That's what they said.
Yep.
That's what the jury found.
But it did. I mean, if you look at the dependency court hearing transcripts,
Here we go.
It's undeniable. And even they admit it. They admit that they haven't been able to help her. Johns Hopkins admits in the dependency that we can't help her. We haven't been able to help her. She's not getting any better. And so we have to transfer and shuffle her off to someplace else.
That's not the same thing as medical negligence, though, or medical malpractice.
But her condition worsened while she was there.
It's also not necessarily the same thing as medical malpractice.
Condition, oh, okay. Well, how about the
Okay, so right now, Steve, so let's get it before it heats up. It seems like the origin of this is Megan Fox is going over some facts, right? And Kurt is focused on, because we're talking about causes of action, on the elements of a cause of action. Does that seem like the genesis here? Does that seem like that's a fair description of what happened?
Well, see, I'm just seeing a lot of
we're going piece by piece, right?
I don't know. I don't.
Do you want to play it again? Do you need me to play it again?
No, please don't.
Okay.
No. I'm my analysis is that Megan Fox knows what she's talking about when it comes to the facts. In fact, she knows a lot of like side issues. She's been studying this issue for like 10 years, right?
Yes.
And seen a lot of these type of incidents. And she's referring to things that are kind of not before the court. She's talking about this dependency hearing. And so she's sort of in the weeds of the facts. Which a
lay person, right? This is the difference between a lay person and a lawyer. Okay, so real quick.
Right.
A lay person, particularly, I'm going to say it here, guys. Okay, mine's getting spicy, right? A lay person, particularly somebody who is thinking very emotionally, they think in the whole, right? It's not about what the wrong in the case or in that cause of action. It's about justice. It's about what happened overall. I'm not saying that's wrong.
It's a mistake, but it's a mistake.
Hold on. I'm not saying it's wrong to think that way. I'm just saying that's how they're thinking.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. But it's a mistake for a lawyer not to remember that the law is for the people, and that that the people have a say on this. So the projection that she's making, which is these generalities saying, I don't care what these causes of action are, I'm going to screw the hospital because of cosmic injustice and all of these things that I know. That is the way most jurors attack things. Now, it sounds to me like Kurt is zeroed in on a very narrow legal point related to a cause of action here, and saying that the facts that you're representing here are incongruent with that cause of action, right? And then she's going back and saying, well, what about, like kind of all the facts, and he's narrow and she's broad, and so
she's
they're
being
missing. There's no communication.
She's being very, very broad. He's saying a very specific thing, which, in a situation where you're deferring to people's comparative expertise, this could have been ended right now by saying, well, you're probably right about that, right? The element may not be there, right? Because you're talking about the elements, but as a whole, beyond the elements, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, right? Like you may be right about that. Acknowledge it. Like give it like, okay, yeah, the elements are difficult, right?
Like the topic. I mean, the thing is that who's determining the topic here? It's sort of a free-flowing conversation.
It's free flow. This is free love, baby. It's free lawtism, baby.
And that's where the personality incongruencies come into play, because Kurt is like focused like this.
Lawtistic as hell. Lawtistic as hell. We get it. We love our law. I love my law.
We love our lawtisms.
I love them.
And she's talking on a different wavelength completely. And there's just not, the communication just ain't happening, right? And there's no discipline in this conversation. I mean, the discipline is having his drink.
Never go full lawtard. Yeah. But the thing is, it does matter. And there are people out there, by the way, shout out to the lawtists out there. There are people that really care about the elements and really care about the law and love going in and making those differences and make those arguments. And we can have, between you and I, Steve, you and I could have an argument on the elements of a crime and we'd be just fine. We'll leave friends afterwards. Maybe we flip each other the bird once or twice for fun. But like we can have that back and forth on elements of a crime, and does it meet that element? Reasonable minds can differ. You don't need to get upset about that. That's a normal thing, or emotional.
And in fairness, like there are people, the people that are Kurt fans they love that kind of detail.
Yes, they love it.
And analysis. And I'm sure he could go through this thing and talk about each element for each thing, and the person, putting all that together on a chart, right, on the whiteboard. The people that are upset by the public policy implications of this and how bad this woman was abused, and the jury got it right, and look at poor, and can you believe we've got a different audience. So we have two different audiences and two different things depending on what you want. But it's like oil and water in the vat ain't mixing.
Yeah, oil and water is a very good thing. So let's throw some napalm on this oil and water, and let's let this play.
That would be the damages element.
How about when they held her down and stripped her and took photographs of her?
That would be battery.
Yeah, that's battery.
Still, this whole thing.
So once again, see that interaction there?
Yeah, see, there's an example.
Megan says and emotionally blurts out facts which are true. Megan is not wrong about those facts, but she's not analyzing them like a lawyer. She's analyzing them like a layperson, which would take this, because this is a very fucked up scenario, right?
Right.
A layperson.
It made me very emotional when she read that. That's why I was reacting. I got clipped on one of these clip things, which is always, I love getting clipped. So clip away.
Oh, it's great. We've got a clip about me that's coming up. Don't worry. Oh, we got one that's specifically about me. Don't worry.
We got to stage a clip like. See, I'm not good at staging anything.
No,
but anyway,
no. Let's just keep this rocking and rolling here.
Go ahead.
Let me continue to play this because we got to get through this.
Is bullshit. They needed all of them. All of these hospitals that do this needed a big wake up call.
No.
They got away with.
I'm on Megan's side of this one.
They got away with Justina Pelletieri. That case got thrown out. Her family never saw a dime, never got anything for what they did to that family. Drake Pardo, I don't think his family sued that hospital, and they got away. Cynthia Absug, they did it to her. She's still separated from her son. She lost all her parental rights over that.
So we're now talking about many cases. So this is
right.
Once again, from a lay perspective, it gets even more emotional when you think about, and it's emotional thinking when you expand it beyond just yourself, but to all of these cases, right? So you expand to all these cases. So now justice in this case becomes all these cases, and it's not wrong, right? I mean, look, when I get mad about when I get mad about stuff like COVID or Disney or whatever, it's not because of one thing; it's because of a lot of things, and it's right about that. But that doesn't apply to a legal analysis.
But is this a legal analysis show really, or is it? She's focused on the public policy debate, and she's talking about all of these people that have been wronged and never gotten any money, and then somebody else is having a different conversation about the spreadsheet and the numbers and the particular counts. Right? These are two different conversations, and the communication is not being. So, okay, we're dissecting. This is fascinating.
They accused her of the exact same thing at one of these stupid hospitals. And then you have Rachel Bruno. She won $2.3 million, but that wasn't nearly enough.
Megan,
on Megan's side. On Megan's side, though.
Million, it's getting closer.
So now we have a factionalization. So we see a little bit here where Vice is going there, and he's going to back up Megan. And Nick's already said he's on Megan's side. You have Rob and looking like Rob and Kurt are taking a little bit of side. So this is like the tinders of drama.
But there's not sides. There's perspective.
Well, it's perspective, right? But it seems that it will continue.
On Megan's side,
because they're using names.
Would this rise to the medical malpractice to where the primary caregiving physician said this is not abuse? Do not consider this abuse case, and they promptly went down and handled it as an abuse case, locked her away in a closet, prevented the mother from being there, and treated her incorrectly.
I will disagree. That's
not medical malpractice.
This was not med mal.
So they're talking law. This is law.
This was not med mal. It was. You know what? Here's the thing. No, Megan, I will disagree with you because you are applying the wrong fucking legal standard.
Well, you should. Yeah, you are applying the wrong.
I see.
I mean, because actually, Rob's the first one to curse here, which is a little spicy. I'm a little surprised. I was like, all right, Rob, because usually very soft spoken, right? Very, very quiet guy. like whisper in your ear and you jump because he comes up behind, like that sort of thing. So he drops a little F-bomb there. I'm like, oh, you got a little spice, got a little spice lumber. All right.
I couldn't agree with Rob more. You're applying completely the wrong standard, and I was
Matter.
wrong
I'm not a
standard.
lawyer,
Yes, it
and I'm
does
not
matter.
talking about the
This is a
legal
legal
standard.
education work.
But
What are you talking about?
Okay, so there's a statement I want to get. Like, and this is a good debate. So I think our channels are for legal education, but you're right.
Look at
Is
Nick.
this
Look
is
at
this
Nick.
stream legal? Yeah, look at Nick. Look at Nick. You know what Nick is watching right now? You know what he's watching while this is happening?
Subscribers going up and
Super chats. He's watching the super chats come in. He's like, my kid is getting a new fucking pony right now. He is like, this is gonna be great because he's seen this shit so much, and it's great. It's great. Oh, it's absolutely great, And once again, we have to understand these people came on this stream voluntarily, right? Everybody here is here of their own volition because they wanted to be. In fact, one of these people is the one who decided to bring these other people on, right? Bottom right-hand corner decided to bring in bottom middle, right? Specifically requested that from what we're understanding.
Right.
So yeah, that's And let's continue.
That doesn't matter.
Oh,
Here's the thing.
but
You want to do something on your feelings? You want to do it for the fifis?
You want
Here's
You want to do it because your fifis got hurt?
No.
That's how we're doing law now?
I'm still on
Yes,
Megan's side
Fifi's.
because Megan is
Fifi's.
a juror.
Do you want me to
Exactly.
explain-
Megan's
do you want
a
me to
juror.
explain it or not?
The jurors are
No, I
not
don't want you to
lawyers.
explain because you have no reason.
No.
It's
Here's
not
the-
rational.
Jurors are not
Calm
lawyers.
down.
Wait.
Hang on.
Yeah, okay, everybody.
You. Fuck you, Megan.
Ask the question.
Fuck you.
Okay, so the first FU does come from Kurt, right? But of course, this isn't after, this is clearly heated. This is a heated exchange, right? Now, there's a lot going on here. But obviously, I want to calm down. Obviously, look, we can have a conversation reasonably. We can have a disagreement reasonably. There's ways to do this very, very reasonably and not reasonably. And to my man, Kurt, I love you, bro. But there's a way to handle it a little more tactfully, right?
and I am the worst.
But that being said, I don't doubt you're being genuine in that moment, and I do appreciate people on the internet who are genuine, right? I do appreciate that a lot.
Except that really, I mean, do you really want that to be your image? Of course, on the other hand, somebody in the chat mentioned that person did put in the title of their channel uncivil. So
right.
You are kind of playing.
You were warned, and once again, did you not invite this person to the stream? Is this not like your idea at least? Like is that not a thing? Like, okay, 10 more memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We are at 110 base chats and Stacy's. What? My, we might just have something that's going to get called an insurrection here.
All I can see here is I can see massive personality conflict and then lopped on top of that, big plop on top of it is the absolute chaos that is 6 people talking over each other about some topic that nobody really, the topic is fuzzy and undefined. So therefore everybody thinks they are on the topic that they're on because they're in their own little heads saying, I'm right on point. Everybody else doesn't understand what's happening. And you got 6 people all thinking, talking over each other, and then they're getting frustrated because they're not being heard.
Yes. And that's a normal frustration. There's nothing wrong. This is why big panels are hell, because everybody wants to be heard. Look, I'm sure Runkle wants to speak. Runkle's being very polite and nice and quiet little elf in the corner. Like he's being really nice. And by the way, I met Ian. He's a very nice guy. I like Ian. Yeah, I think he's funny. He's got a little quirky sense. He's got a quirky sense of humor. I like Ian, right? I have no problem with Ian. And like he probably wants to speak too, but who's letting him speak? Who's giving him a turn to speak, right? He's lost in this because his percentage of this conversation is very low. Potentially criminal. Speaking of base chads out there, all this crap was done as part of her treatment for child harms with Munchausen. There's a fair argument this was MedMal. Yeah, and look, I want to have a separate stream on Munchausen by proxy. I mean, not in this context, but like COVID was Munchausen by proxy, which is essentially when you think everybody is sick, so you treat them as if they're sick, even though they're not. That happened on a mass scale during COVID. It's very much a real thing. However, whether or not this case was a case of Munchausen by proxy, it seems like the jury didn't believe that, right? So that's the conclusion I would draw from the jury conclusion. However, it is a very serious thing to be concerned with, and it is a problem. Squid says, I like Megan, but she's talking to lawyers who know how to take the emotion out of an analysis and argument, and she's a woman. Well, look, I know everybody else is okay. I'll say it. Fair. Hold on.
No.
Misogynist on the panel, right? Okay. Big 5 personality test. If you look at studies of the Big 5 personality test, which does a multiple spectrum personalities, right? Introvert, extrovert, all this other stuff. When you talk about emotionalism versus rationality in those personality tests, the general trend is for people with an XY chromosome to fall higher on the side of rationality versus emotion, right?
I'm pushing back.
No. Well, no, you can't, because that's a fact, right?
I know we're talking
these are facts. That is a fact. However,
you're talking the generality. You're applying it to.
Does that mean, no, hold on. Does that mean this person is that way? No, right? I agree. I'm not applying this to specific people, but I'm saying as a general assumption that is true. Now that did it apply to these specific people? Maybe, maybe not. You guys be the judge. Legal mindset. You guys be the judge.
Making a really over in Rumble, making good points as the chat usually does. They're saying who is being more emotional in this discussion at this point.
We'll let that play out.
Nick asked the question. Nick asked the question.
What? I don't care whether you take it or not.
You want to know?
So we got the double middle fingers. Thank you for the thumbnail.
I missed the double middle fingers. I missed
let me go back. What do we get? 140.
I know I saw it before. I saw it one.
Here we go. Here, I'm gonna play it again.
What are you talking about? Doesn't matter.
Oh,
here's the thing.
You want to do something on your feelings? You want to do it for the fifis? You want to do it because your fifis got hurt?
No.
We're doing law now?
I'm still on Megan's side because Megan is a juror.
Exactly.
Megan's a juror.
The jurors are not lawyers.
You explain because you have no reasons.
No.
It's not rationale.
Are not lawyers.
Wait.
Fuck you, Megan. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Nick asked the question. Nick asked the question.
Okay. Steve Gaffney.
Law card.
For you, law card right now. We're doing it. You know,
look, that's the perfect shot right there. Look, the best one. Look at there's Ricada up here.
Megan's face plus Kurt. That is the thumbnail right there.
But it's funny because there's a Kurt Megan drama going on, and then you've got over here. Who's the beneficiary? This guy up here. And look,
all the way to the bank right there in the upper left-hand corner. Nick's face. Plus Kurt, plus Megan, mwah, internet gold.
I love it when a plan comes together. That's it.
It's so great.
I'm gonna push back though on saying Megan was being emotional because
I didn't say that.
Okay, well, you were criticizing.
I made an implication. I made an implication that she might have been that she in general might be than the average guy. I'm not saying that the person she's arguing with is more or less emotional, particularly in this moment, right? Because clearly, if you're getting to a point where you're, and I'll bring this back up here. Ellie said earlier, name calling. Look, name calling isn't proper debate. When you get to the point of name calling, that's not debate anymore. You've gone into hyperbole, right? You've kind of lost the debate. It becomes something else. So, it's gone there now. Right. So now the debate is over. It's both people being emotional because
clearly our middle finger person here does not like the corner square, right? And this was expressed, and this I think it goes way back to the
law card
back here on the auto score.
Gosney, your ability to grift on this redeems everything. I love you so much. I really do. I love you so much that you could grift on this.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's just I think there's personal animosities and so those things get reminded when you're getting frustrated by the confusion that's going on. You're trying to make a rational point and it's frustrating. And then here's this person that you don't like, However, it is kind of this is becoming a pattern. But what are we going to do? It is entertaining, and Ricada knows it, and so he is just laughing up a storm.
Entertaining meaning it's profitable. It's very profitable.
Profitable entertainment.
Yes, very profitable.
You know who I feel bad for here in this whole thing is Legal Vices and Runkle. I don't think they want
look
anything to
at
do with
look at it. Shout out from Jesse Power. This is not a super chat. I'm gonna read it. Runkle is the only alpha in that stream. So funny. No, I will say, look, I respect Ian that he just stayed out of it and stayed quiet, right? Like he just was not involved in this back and forth at all whatsoever. Squid says, to be clear, I like Megan and she's right, but she's arguing from the perspective of emotion and it clashes with how lawyers think. Didn't mean to imply she's being emotional.
I don't agree.
I disagree with. No, I do think she's being emotional because the genesis of her argument, which is a very maternal thing, right? Caring about the community, caring about it's thinking not just we saw her take it, not just that she did it with Maya first. She said, "Oh, all these things that happened to Maya, including the things that weren't at this trial." And then she did it on the hospital level. So she went wide with Maya. And then she said every hospital.
That's fair.
She did do that. We paused.
But that's not. But I don't think that's an emotional mistake.
Yes, it is, because a rational legal analysis does not involve anything beyond the scope of the trial. While we're talking about the trial,
I love how you're talking about how the emotional one here is the female, and you have.
Oh, I'm not. No. I did not absolve Kurt. I did not absolve Kurt.
I think it's a matter of perspective.
I did not absolve Kurt. I did not absolve Kurt. That is not absolve.
I'm not absolving or condemning. I'm observing the fact that the mistake that she's making there is that she's got a lot of information that covers a lot of ground over a lot of time, and she is not focused on what the other people focused on, which is these element things, which is a lawyerly thing to focus on. She's looking at the more cosmic justice thing, but she's arguing, I think, factually and rationally, not emotionally, but it's not refined, it's not focused. And the lawyers are used to breaking things down very focused and very analytically. And that's where the clash is coming. I don't think it's necessarily an emotional versus factual. I think it's more of a categorical, like a problem of generalizing versus specifying. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, real quick for a second. I missed a super chat and I am really good to catch them. I'm going to catch a super chat from a base Chad, and then I'm going to get a beta super chat a little bit. So legal mindset. This is from Excited Utterance from Australia. Has been a member for 1 month. I copy pasted it, so I got it. Would this play out differently if the lay person on the panel were male? Would it be discussion about the lay person?
Excited Utterance.
Reacting emotionally. It depends on the person. There's some dudes that act really emotionally, and I would call them out. I do it all the time. I call it out with all the conservatives that get emotional, right? I call it out all the time. If someone is getting, in fact, there's a lot of guys that I react emotionally. A lot of streamers react emotionally. I could point that out all the time. It depends on the streamer, right? It depends on who it is. If it's Steve Gosney, no. Right? If Steve Gosney is in the bottom right-hand corner there, right? I think this plays differently. No, guys, you don't tell anybody. I've never heard you say calm down, and you also don't call anybody a sad little man. I don't think those words have come out of your mouth before.
The right to do so in the future.
Okay, you can call me a sad little man. Speaking of sad little man, Ricana Law for $20 says, it doesn't clash with how lawyers think. Lawyers are not analytical monsters. Lawyers are specifically utilizing emotion to bend a rod into legal analysis through analogy, synthesis, and persuasion. That's your interpretation of lawyers.
That's a lot of big words for.
A lot of big words there. I mean, I'm going to use I have to put my emotions aside to handle these big words. To be respectful, Nick, I think that's you're making an argument here for maybe trial lawyers. Maybe you're using lawyers in the context of trial. In trial, you have to bend people's emotions. I mean, most of my practice
was a trial.
Well, hold on. Most of my practice, I've used very rational, business-minded arguments to deal with, for example, closing on a property, making a business deal. I'm looking at overall, bond rates for 20 years. That involves nothing to do with emotions, right?
Yeah, but in criminal law, it's all about emotion and inflaming the jury.
That's exactly. So are we talking about a criminal trial here? Are we talking about a civil trial here? Are we talking about the elements of the crime? Are we talking about something specific?
Yeah, what are we talking about? We're two people. We can't even agree on what we're talking about.
I'm just talking about a man. I'm just talking about a man with two middle fingers who doesn't give a fuck. I mean, that's just.
You'll get it again if you cross the line. I'll give
you come at me, Gaza. You come at me, you punk Florida man. What do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You're gonna give me some of that orange juice? Oh, I got orange juice. Oh, I got gators.
Yeah, you're the gator man. You're the orange and the
that is true. I am the orange and blue. Whoa! How dare you disrespect the University of Florida? Fuck you, Steve Gosney. Fuck you. Fuck you,
man. I'll tell you, I'll cross that line any day.
Yeah. Durna says, some people think they're making a rational argument, but the second you get emotional when it's opposed, it's just ego. Yeah. And you have to control your reaction. So Kurt and by the way, I'm going to play another clip real quick. It's of other people critiquing this, but I would say, Kurt, my thing to you, my friend, is when somebody is doing this and it's going that direction, you have to go above and beyond to go the other way, right? Like you have to do it. It's an exercise in personal fortitude. It takes a lot not to say something sometimes, but you got to, right? When someone argues purely from feelings and emotions, people who argue from logic and facts eventually lose their temper. It's not the same type of emotional argument, particularly if it's really going down the pure emotion and feelings route. I don't think this was, by the way, though, because I think Megan did have facts on her side. Look, I'm being very fair to Megan. Megan had facts on her side. She's watched the case. She knows what she knows, right? And once you know, you can't unknow. Speaking of which, Megan looks better in a tight sweater than Kurt, so she automatically wins any argument from the law up to string theory. Listen, I mean, that's it's just law of the universe. It's irrefutable. I am defeated. In fact, you completely defeated me with those arguments. I hope to see more of those type of arguments later today. Ji-Qing Lee says Megan's argument is 80% investigations end up being dismissed. No investigation should be done, which is stupid backwards. Especially that stat counts both false negatives and true negatives.
I don't think that's quite correct. I think she was saying that
there's a statistic about MedMal that like 80 to 90% of cases don't make it or don't win. But
I think she's saying that a lot more should win, and that she's been frustrated for a lot of time because a lot more should win, and they get zeroed out when there's a lot of abuse, and finally justice has occurred, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Let me get Matrix, then we'll get Nick. So Matrix for 50 says there are women who should feel the red carpet being rolled out for them just because they breathe before they speak, especially concerning women's and children's and animals' tree issues. There are women who are able to speak facts, but no, and I know many of them. Like I never say all this, all that. It's a tendency versus a tendency, right? A generalization versus a generalization, right? Obviously, there are people that are way more rational than even me. There's people, I'm more emotional than someone. There's people that exist, right? They're the exception, not the rule, and the exception doesn't prove the rule. That's kind of the whole thing.
Of mansplaining right here. This is the but I don't think, I think really
Matrix is great about that. Like explaining it out and when having these conversations, talking professionally, that's not mansplaining. I hate when people
You're mansplaining a little bit. You're mansplaining just a little bit.
Am I? Is that hurting your XX chromosome there?
Yes,
Steve?
I'm feeling a little verklempt.
You are? It's a good word, by the way. Really. Speaking of verklempt, let's speak of what it is. Verklempt. Ricana Law, who says way more than trial. Stop it. You're absolutely persuading your client into a legal position or perspective. Andrew, you are human by nature. No, I'm just human. Not everyone does. No, don't ignore your human elements. I don't. But I generally...
maybe it's getting late. My brain isn't working. Explain this, what he's saying here. This is not the...
I don't know. I think he's talking about maybe our degenerate elements. I don't know what you're talking about, Nick. Because I have a space for being emotional and being angry and doing that. I'm not a robot, right? But there's a place for it. Just like you don't, you don't do cocaine on your office table in front of your secretary. You don't go to church and have a strip. Well, maybe nowadays they do. But you don't run the strip club in the church. Right? There's a time, a place, and a manner for everything.
Let's not make generalities.
Well, yeah, some churches are getting pretty wild nowadays. But there's a time, place, and manner for everything. And as an adult human, and I believe all adults should have this ability to, in a certain context, act a certain way, and on a certain topic, handle it a certain way. Of course, your emotions are going to get involved sometime. Of course, that's going to happen. But you should acknowledge that as an adult human and be able to control that. Let's be like, hey, I'm getting kind of heated about this. Let me tell you.
And the thing is that I get it that you don't like somebody, And I have been known to tell off very important people who I shouldn't, that maybe in ways that are not very polite. So who am I to say? But I would say as a general look, it's not a very, you'd be better off to cool your jets as good advice and not curse somebody out, even if you don't like them, just because it's, that stuff it's emblazoned for posterity. It's better off to be a little bit cool. And I think that the environment there brought out the worst of that panel. And but it's happened before, so it's utterly predictable. However, if it's predictable, it should be predictable to the participants also, and and they should be dialing it back, right?
Yeah. It's like there is some duty, like as once again we talked about earlier. I know Ricada wasn't here and Megan wasn't here. I see you in the chat too, Megan. It's some responsibility to get back in, rein it back in, drop back in, and there's some of that goes on. There's some
actually, I'll say I now that I'm thinking about it, and the old nose is in the chat. I'm thinking the time that I kind of got a little frustrated was Nick's favorite person, which was Charlie. Do you remember the Charlie chat when she was on? And I was trying to we were talking something, and she was like all over the place, not making any sense, and just completely wrecking my legal point over and over again. And I just checked out because I'm like, I'm going to say something that I'll regret at this point on public inlet. I would definitely get started. I would say it. And the thing, I didn't want to say it because I'm like, okay, I know that I could say it, and I would say it, so I better get off before I do say it.
Oh yeah. You got to control it. We got to control it here. Holly said, I really doubt Kurt would treat EDB this way, but I don't think, once again, EDB would react a different way. EDB would create a different scenario. EDB would have a different dynamic. I don't know how that would turn out, right? That's speculation, right? But it's a different person. So you can't say that this would happen with EDB or this would happen with anybody else, right? So here's one thing I want to play real quick. This is before I play the thing about me, which is great. I'll play this one from Viva and from Robert Barnes real quick. This is a small clip, 2 minutes here. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
Megan. Holy crap.
So let me
round table of lawyers screamed at Megan. Holy crap. I just put 2 and 2 together. Won't say who sent me the link. People sent me the link of, and I'm not going to mention names because I'm not trying to make
send them the link.
People yelling at Megan Fox. I didn't even understand that.
So to be clear, of that panel, and to be fair to Nick and everybody else, Nick wasn't yelling at her. Runkle wasn't yelling at her. I don't think Rob was necessarily yelling. Who else wasn't yelling? Vices was simping for her, so that you got that. So of that panel, really only 1.5 people were yelling at Megan. So I wouldn't 1.5, right? Was I there? I guess I was there in their dreams. I was there in their fantasies. I'm their little, the specter that's there, yelling, even though I was literally not paying attention. I think I was, and we'll cover this. At that time, I was either on a flight or I was here and getting back here. I was busy coming because I just came back from Tokyo. So I was totally not involved here. So there was 1.5 people. So maybe not the whole panel. That's not an accurate description.
That's what it's about. And I said to the person, I found nothing insightful about that. I found nothing entertaining about that. I found it all to be offensive and abusive, and I stopped watching.
About that comment, right? So you might be right, and if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it, right? So that's the right reaction. If you are offended by something, don't watch it. I wouldn't use the word abusive. I mean, a streamer decides to be on a stream. If they don't want to step in the kitchen, they can get out of it. That's the standard we use for streamers. I mean, unless you're implying, Viva, that there's a special category that she falls into and we should give her a special treatment for that. But I mean, for my thing is, if you can't handle streaming and being on a stream where there may be confrontation, then don't do that. Don't go on that stream. Don't create that environment. Don't step in that environment. We know what it is. You know what it is. Everybody knows what I know what it is when I go into that. So I don't do it. Don't do it, right? There's a little bit more to that than it was. And by the way, to be fair, there's a reason why Viva primarily streams with Robert Barnes, because they have a good back and forth, but they know there's not going to be drama, right? There's a reason why I got the gauze on. Our drama is going to stay within the bounds of Florida, right? I mean, It's going to stay between us and a meth gator wrestling competition. It's going to be fine. We're going to be all right.
I now have gator skills because I watched Brian Shaw wrestle gator, so I have the knowledge that you do not
practice.
Because you've abandoned Florida.
But you know what? There's a version of a gator over here, right? So I can practice on these Asian gators, and we got Burmese python. I'm literally close to Burma. I can go over there as Burma falls apart in a civil war. I can be fighting Burmese pythons, right? For practice for our Florida man off. We can do this. Okay, let's continue.
I'll read it. Jay Butters. Rekida's roundtable of lawyers screamed at Megan over the take care of Maya case, telling her she's not a lawyer and there was no medical malpractice. Is that how you see the case? I think we answered it, but I'd nothing.
I mean,
more.
whether you call it medical negligence or you call it something else, very tough to prove medical malpractice in America, contrary to what a bunch of doctors and others will tell you. Doctors get away with it all the time. I'll give you an example. I was co-counsel on a case where a woman went in and got her tubes tied. Then she got pregnant. Court still said the jury still said the doctor was not liable.
Was the pregnancy as a result of the surgery or just
no? I mean, it was just that clearly he didn't tie her. She tired. He didn't do what he was paid to do.
Or he. I'm not trying to be crass. Or he assaulted her before tying her.
Oh no, nothing like that. No, I mean it was literally it was several months later.
It just didn't work. It didn't work. It's like
it didn't work at all. And you think if there's any better example of the doctor screwing up, that would be it. Not according to the jury. They're like, oh no, poor doctors. They work so hard. They try so hard. This is why 10% of doctors are responsible for 90% of medical malpractice. But the doctors don't punish them.
This is true.
And juries don't punish them.
Well, that part about the percentage, the bad ones are really bad. I had a friend who's in the circle of plaintiffs lawyers, right? The top litigators. They do med mal exclusively. The ones that are bad are really bad, right? Like that part is absolutely 100% true there. Finish this up.
And 90% of the time, they never even get sued for it. So the people saying this was not medical malpractice are giving a deference to doctors they don't deserve. And then the other problem is, how do you explain the doctors billing for something, them telling courts and the parent wasn't happening?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Once Megan told me that, I was like, oh, wow, they got him dead to rights.
Well, but also, that case. I saw the stream. I was like, I did not find anything insightful or entertaining about what I found to be not gender abuse, just like not productive discussion. I didn't find anything good about it. No shade and no nothing.
So yeah, and actually, like with that final statement, I'll agree with that. Like if you're watching something you don't find it, don't watch it, right? Like if you find that not productive, like that's your choice. Don't watch it, right?
Well, and that's what I think the lineup, the panel was too crowded.
Yeah. So 6 people is gonna get spicy too with those personalities, which people have said. Andrew, give the context of the context. There was still the fight. It goes on from the log card a month ago, and there was other stuff too. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, LawTube drama, stuff like that that's going on. So there's
clearly a personality clash here too.
Yes.
I mean, and the thing is that people.
Here we go. Sorry, the super chat. Too Singaporean revenge for last year's incident. I don't know about revenge, but
and was it really revenge? I
think revenge so much as like obviously we haven't forgotten that. Like I don't forget, and there's a reason why I don't stream with certain people, no matter how much they beg me to come on or send me invites. Right? Like I don't stream with certain people because I don't want that juju on my streamer. I don't want that vibe for my streamer. They don't have anything to add to the topics I want to talk about. That's not a personal thing. It's just. This is what it is. I don't think it's productive.
You find chemistry with certain people. Like, I mean, when Joe Good Logic and I get on, we're always getting all philosophical and religious. And I just love, I think we have
that's great
chemistry,
That's great.
And I love it. So I love coming on with him and I like coming on with you. I always have the most fun. I don't know
you're
why.
This is like dating a hot girl, right? So like you are like a super hot redhead over here, right? Really? You are like my smoking hot redhead. And I got this 9 redhead of Steve Gosney and I'm like, I just want to get some Steve Gosney. But someone's like, well, why aren't you streaming with this 5? Right? You need to go over here and stream with this 5. I'm like, I'm dealing with a hot redhead 9. I want to be with the 9. Why are you making me slum it with the 5? Right? We got chemistry, we got charisma, we got Brucey, the one I wonder dog. Why am I going to go out here and stream with a 5? No, fuck that. No, I don't have to. I'm not obliged to do that.
I'm
not obliged to engage.
Right
No,
here,
of
right?
course not.
Books here for you, right here, only available SteveGodley.com. But
Right.
you know, and I will say that you have great Florida man mojo, and we just relate on that. We know a lot of the same stuff, but we also have complementary perspectives. But I would really say that the people that are involved in that, are you really happy with the way that you're portraying yourself? And if you aren't, then you have the power within your hands to change who you are, and that's difficult. It's through self-discipline, self-assessment, and if you think that's what the world should bring, then go to it. Be the best you that you can be.
So speaking of self-assessment, this is the last clip we have to play before I do have to get out of here. I have to run. I have a lunch. Just one last one. I want to play this one. It is, where is Legal Mindset? So there was a super chat that was sent in, right? And I want to say before I start this, because the name is going to be said really quick, this clip, it was sent in by a literal friend of, he met me in Tokyo. So he knew I was traveling at the time. He actually knew this. He texted me. He's like, oh my God, they read it like on screen live at the same time when this happened. And this was like so epic that they brought this up right after, and what everybody has to say is hilarious. I love it. So let's play this here.
Xander's Rand says, is Andrew Mindset not coming just in case of
here?
Xander's Rand says, is Andrew Mindset not coming just in case of drama? Yeah, I don't invite him on when I'm like, there might be drama here. I want Andrew Legal Mindset.
Probably coming.
So like, I like that right there with the Nick's comment, because I actually appreciate that. I appreciate that Nick doesn't invite me on when there's drama. So actually, for Nick, I will say thank you, right? Nick knows that I prefer one-on-one. I prefer small groups, right? So he does not invite me on. I am happy to go on Nick's channel anytime for a one-on-one. I am happy to go on for a very small panel. Steve Gosney, Andrew Branca, Vices, I'll go on with those guys. It's fine. But if you bring on somebody who I knowingly am going to have conflict with, or if it's a large panel, I'm out. And he knows that. He doesn't invite me anymore. And I thank you. Don't bother inviting me, because I don't want to be there. I've made that very, very, very clear. So yeah, I'm actually happy about that. So I'll rewind it a second, because we'll get all the comments.
It's probably coming because of the drama.
Yeah, I was going to say, he doesn't really seem like the kind of guy who necessarily avoids.
Oh, great, somebody else to scream at me. Yeah, sure. Bring.
So I love how like they're talking about me. I love it. Look, Megan. They're talking about me and you make it about you. I love it. Okay, listen, we're not going to make girlfriend-wife stereotypes, but they're talking about me and you make it about you.
You missed your chance to yell at her at this stream, so now you're yelling at her because she's in the chat.
Funny.
You can't help. He predicted it, and here you come.
And of course she goes. It's a joke in the chat. I see you, Megan. It's a joke. It's a joke. Oh yeah, of course. It's always a joke afterwards, right? It's always a joke afterwards, but it's all good. Like I said, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
Face looks like a horse, but it's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah. You know, your mother was a barbarian whore, but it's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, we're all friends here. We're all friends. Hey. You know. All right. Let's play. This is actually hilarious.
Andrew,
no, Megan,
that'll be perfect. I've got something saved up for him from months ago. Bring him on. I've got shit to say to him too. Bring it on.
Did he think you were Disney or something?
No, he criticizes me. He calls me a beta.
Oh, real quick.
He calls you a beta. He admits it.
No, by the way, Ian with the number one right there. Did he think you were Disney? Ian, you're gonna fucking gold star for that one. That was actually funny. That was really, really funny. Right?
And then Nick with the drama is like, he calls me a beta.
Hold on, I'll rewind that real quick. Hold on.
He calls me a beta over drama stuff. And I'm like, well, I may be a beta, but you're a woman.
20 years. You got to respect. But I love the humor. The humor, I mean, I got to say, Megan and Nick were being very humorous too. I mean,
yes, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And even if you don't like each other, it's funny, but you know, ultimately, who cares? Don't get all wrapped up in it.
That's all funny. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. But that was all good stuff. No, listen, I think it's hilarious. blood feud with everybody on the. No, I'm joking. I think it's hilarious. I think that's hilarious about me. It's absolutely funny. I think it's funny. Megan, I take it as a joke. Mwah. Kurt, I see you're going to bed. Have a nice sleep there. Nick Cruiser, $10 says roughly 1 in 200 women will still become pregnant after a successful tubal ligation. 5% in younger than 28, 2% in women, 1% in women older than 34. Hey, look, we should be able to sue for tubal ligation failures and for vasectomy failures. So I'm all for that, both wise. Wait, we do it both genders, right? Let's do equality, right? So failed vasectomies and failed that. I think that anytime there's a failed vasectomy, the hospital should be on the line for paying for that child completely. They should be paying all child support for forever for that child. The father should be completely absolved of anything, should not have to pay a cent. They should pay every cent for that scenario. So that's
can we point out that Megan and Uncivil were both in the chat?
No, Megan, Uncivil, Rakita, and you know what's funny? I didn't feel the need to invite them all on the stream at the same time. Because I have this wonderful power of being able to control who I invite on my panel. It's weird that you can do that. Oh my God. You can control who you have on.
You're controlling me. Is that what you're saying? You're saying you control me, huh? With your super Florida man powers. I know you're a seductress.
I control you. Well, sometimes. Only when it comes to selling Brucey the One-Day Wonder Dog, which is now available at
SteveGosney.com. Where do you get it? Only
SteveGosney.com.
With for your for Christmas gifts.
Isaac Baruch's wholesome gobbledygook art. Shout out to the Amber Heard trial. Wonder if Andrew or Ghazni is going to get a shower call.
What is a shower?
Like I'm going to get shivved because we. No, dude. I think everybody has a sense of humor. Everybody has a sense of levity. Nick has a sense of levity. Kurt does, despite what anybody says about Kurt.
Uncivil
Kurt does actually
levity after the fact.
He does have a really good sense of levity.
At the time, you bring that humor into the moment. There's a good solution. Bring the humor to the moment. There we go.
I think they all have a sense of levity. Holly says, "Don't get me wrong. I can't stand for that female layer. It's not male versus female. It's Kurt." Well. Okay, that's your personal opinion. It's Khan. It's like Kurt.
That'd be a good meme,
Jerry, get that grip. Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I'm willing to cover these things, and I think
wrath of Kurt.
I think we had a pretty sober-headed conversation here. I think we really talked about this in a way that got it out. We got all the personalities out. We managed to only flick each other off like 9 or 10 times throughout this. Hey, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me.
We unite. Hey, I saw it. I saw that.
Did you?
We united the warring parties in chat.
And, we did. They were in the chat. They're going to be a happy couple. I celebrate the coming Uncivil Fox union, right? Uncivil Fox, the new channel. It's like icy hot. It goes on one way, goes off the burn.
Jay, you ignorant slut.
It's gonna be great. And then we've got one on Rumble here. I want to make sure I catch because I catch all of my peoples, and that's a Rumble rant from Sully SDS. It says, "Before you sign off, can I grip for my channel, the Gun Club on YouTube and Rumble?" Yes. Join the Gun Club on YouTube and Rumble, one of the most base channels out there talking about 2A, talking about the guns. Go check them out for show. But also check out SteveGosney.com. Get Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog. And guys, most of all, have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me, Steve. You have been fantastic. I had so much fun with you.
This was you don't know. This made my night, and it's always fun to come on. This is
let's give them let's sign off here with a solid double bird as we go. Well, let's do it. Double birds. See you guys.